let's switch gears, if it's okay with you, and talk about the close, the choreographed close. Okay, this piece right here. So editor, let's make this a new recording. When it comes to the close, there are two ideas I want you to keep in mind. And I know we're giving you a ton right now. This is the only chance we're ever going to get a chance to talk about this outside of black belt, and I want to make sure you got everything you can. So, okay, let me show you how I do it at inside black belt. We have, or inside the $1 Million Coach Intensive. Two frameworks you need. The first one is the way you describe your program. So this is what you're going to talk about, and the next one is how you're going to talk about it. Okay, so here's what you talk about. You talk about your 6 magic pills. We talked about these a couple of weeks ago, and you've probably got these designed out. If you don't, you frankly, you need them, because if you have them, it makes selling so easy. And if you don't, it's incredibly hard. They answer the question, why should I work with you? What would we work on, and how does it work? Okay, so we're going to walk through the core problems that they have, the prescriptions, what they need instead, and those two pieces answer why you need this. Next, we talk about what. If we're going to work together, it's really important that we're aligned on goals. Let's make sure everyone's really clear about the outcome of your program. And then the model, what are the key pieces we'll work on? And so the model, in my world, is attract, convert, deliver, so we can scale. Yeah, that answers the, hey, so if we did work on this, if we did work together, what do we do? Not how does it work, but like, what's the result and how does it work? What do we work on? Finally, the how piece is logistics. Tell me about the webinars and the calls and the the one-on-one or the game plan up front, all that stuff. And then finally, timing and price, okay, which is like the how. So when we walk through the offer, that's the order we're going to do it in. Are you clear about this so far? Talk to me. Yep. Let's talk about how you do it. Great. 4 phases. This is how I do it. The only other people I know in the world to do it like this are clients of mine and one incredible woman who I spent a fortune with, Joanna Martin, to learn this piece. Okay, so sharing with permission, and I hired her for half a day to teach me this thing, and it was ridiculously expensive, super worth it. I'm going to share it with you right now. 4 phases of the offer. Here's how I do it. I'm not saying you must do it like this, but particularly when you have a small group, this is the best way to do it. Okay, so before you make your offer, the danger is that people will be in this place where where they're super excited, they're kind of on top of the world, and they feel like I could do this on my own. And so we want to get people back grounded in reality, that you're really excited about right now, but on Monday morning when you get back to work, what's going to happen? Life's going to get in the way. It's going to be hard. And so we need a piece of content which deliberately is designed to get people back in the I need help position. Yeah. So before even make the offer, I get people back in that place. There's an activity that we do that just helps people get super clear, just like you would on a strategy session, about where they want to go and where they are right now and everything that's holding them back. So they're just in this really great place to make some decisions for their future. And frankly, I don't care if they hire me or not, but I want to make sure they do something for themselves to change their situation. Okay, so I want to get them in a place where, you know what, I've got all the information in front of me and now I'm ready to make a decision for myself and my future. And it might include Taki or it might not, and that's fine. Okay, so we get them back in the I need help position. I do that with an exercise called the transition plan and then a value model. Transition plan just gets people in a position ready to know, I'm going to do something for myself. And it might be with this Taki guy, I don't really care, but as long as they know that staying the same isn't going to help me. And they're really clearer than ever about where they want to go and really clear about what's all the projects which need to get handled. They're really useful. In fact, I have people who come to $1 Million Coach Intensive who say that transition plan exercise is the most useful thing the whole time. And then value model. So at this point, people are in the place now where it's, where they're frankly, they know where they're at and they want to do something about it. And so what I do, because it's just before lunch, is I say, great, so what we're going to do right now is we're going to have a lunch break. And just to be super clear, Black Belt is designed for people who are making $10,000 a month or more. And so, I've just drawn a value model, and one of the scales it measures is monthly revenue. So if you're here, $10,000 a month or more, and you want to go up quickly, that's kind of what Black Belt does. And so if you want to hear more about how that works, then in a minute, we're gonna break for lunch. And if you make less than $10,000 a month, or you don't want to kind of go one to many, then have a great lunch break and come back at whatever it is, 2 or 2:30. And if you do want to hear about how it works and see if it could be a match for you, then give us a couple. Leave, go to the bathroom, get a drink. Give us a couple of minutes to set the room up. We'll bring in some sandwiches so you're not hungry, and we can kind of just chat and eat. And we'll have a really simple, casual, low-key chat about how it works and who it's for and who it's not for and what's in it, and you can work out if it's for you or not. Does that make sense? So everyone leaves the room. And then 5 minutes later, the people who want to come back in, come back in. So in red here, I'm going to draw everyone leaves. Okay. Now, what's good about this so far? What do you like about this tension piece so far and the red arrow? What do you like about this so far? Pre-filters. Yep. So I've got people hungry. Yep. It makes people feel like they're missing out if they don't join. Yeah, it probably does. When I say, if this isn't you, please leave, what does it do? It's zero pressure. It means that everyone who's in the room wants to be there, and there's a commitment they've made to themselves that this could be interesting for me. And so they've chosen to show up. It's challenge by choice the whole way through. It's incredibly clear. And I only have to make my offer to hot prospects. Exactly right. People are filtering themselves. It's a gentle takeaway. Love that. So now we're in the inspiration phase. So people come back in. If you think about the design of the room, let's say this is your room. People come back in, and here's this stage. What we do while they're away is we bring in some food. Usually it's kind of just outside the door. People will come through, get their food, and come back in. And there's some chairs here. We usually get rid of the back couple of rows. And I put a round table. It's not nowhere near that big. Round table at the back. And let's say there's 50 people in the room. There'll be like 8 chairs around it. If there's 80 people, maybe there's 12 chairs, something like that. So people come in and they sit and they're eating. And while they're eating, I'm going to teach the inspirational part of Black Belt. And so I'm going to talk about why I built it, the problems it solves, the prescriptions it makes, the outcome, the model, attract, convert, deliver. I'm going to do this piece right here. Yeah? But I'm also going to talk about the experience, the caliber of people. I'm going to say who it's for and who it's not for. Just for a few minutes, long enough for people to eat and know if they're in the right room or not. You with me so far? And then I'll say, great. So when you came in, you probably noticed that we put in a little table at the back with a few chairs. If you come this far and you either came just for the free sandwiches or kind of what I've said right now has disqualified you and you know it's not for you, then in a minute, I'm going to ask you to leave, enjoy the rest of the lunch break, and come back at 2:30. But if you come this far and you go, actually, that's exactly what I'm talking about, and I want to know more about how it works, then in 30 seconds, when I get up and I walk to the table at the back, I want you to come and join me there. Okay, so you can either leave or you can come with me. Let's do that now. And I go and I sit down right here. So there's another chance to leave. And what will happen is almost everybody will come and they'll sit in these chairs. And then we'll quickly realize that there's not enough chairs and we'll have a little bit of a crew standing around. Does that make sense? Pause and check in. What have you learned about this piece so far, this inspiration phase? And what do you like about the move to the table? Where was my previous position? Up here on the stage. Gets people hungry. Yep. It's another hook. It's bouncing them. Greg, really interesting. I hadn't even heard about bouncing until recently, but yeah, that's exactly what it is. It's a bounce. You know, when you have a big audience, and there's like hundreds and hundreds of people in the room, and the woman up on the front of the stage is amazing. She's got incredible moves. And at the end she goes, so what I want you to do is put down your pen and paper, get out of your chair and come and meet me at the back of the room, get started today. And there's this huge kind of rush. And there's, this crowd rush. It's fantastic. It's also really hard to do when there's 20 people in the room or 50 people in the room. Yeah? Yeah, because if you can't get a rush when there's not an audience already. Okay, so here's what I like about it, is it shows that there's social proof now, and other people are interested in this too. It's a way to get a move to a table without you're asking 10 people to stand up and run. Yeah? Why else did I do that? It allows us to have a conversation with the people who want to have the conversation. So it's one more opt-out. I really like the idea that we're not assuming the close on anyone or assuming the sale. We're assuming the not sale and letting people choose to be part of it every step of the way. I think it's super respectful. Okay. So what next? Well, what next is the logistics piece. So before we go any further, we check in with people. Frankly, we've got too many people crowding around, not enough chairs, which is cool. We say, thank you so much for coming. In a minute, we'll talk about how the program works. But before we do that, I'd like to hear from 2 or 3 people. What is it about Black Belt that makes you know that this is the thing, this could be the thing for you? And I'll just have a couple of people share. And when they do, it's social proof for them, and it's great for your confidence. Yeah? Cool. And then you walk through the logistics of how the program works. Remember, if you go here, we haven't done logistics or price. So you walk through the logistics. And the way I like to think about logistics is I break the program up into 3 buckets. Every client who I work with really needs 3 things. They need a plan. So this kind of just came to me one day at the back of the room, and I kind of broke it into these buckets. You need the tools to help you get the results you're after, and then you need the help. So I kind of explain that, and then I list out, here's how we help you with a plan, here's how we deliver the tools and what the tools are, and here's how you get help when you need it. Does that make sense? Cool. Okay. So in a minute, we're going to talk about price. But before we go any further, is there anything else that you need to know to help you know that this is the program for you? And I'll just take a couple of questions. When are the events or whatever it is? Okay, cool. That's great. So in a minute, so the only thing we haven't talked about is price. And just so you know, guys, here's my personal come from on that. I'm really happy to talk about price, but only with people who see the value. And if you've come this far and you go, you know what? In my heart of hearts, I know this isn't for me. Completely okay. I'm going to give you one last chance to leave, because I only want to have this conversation with people who totally want to do this. Okay, so I'm going to give you 30 seconds right now to up and leave if this isn't for you. And I wait. And sometimes somebody will go, but very rarely. And then I'm able to say, so I want to make sure we're all really clear. If you're still here right now and you haven't left, that says, I really want to do this. The only thing that's going to stop me is money. Is that right? Okay. Again, it's 1, 2, 3 chances to not be part of this process, which is really nice. It means you're talking to the best possible people. Okay, so next I'll talk about timing, and I talk about first year commitment, first quarter ROI, and first month guarantee. And then we talk about price. There's upfront, there's installments, there's bonuses, and who's in a position to do either of those right now? Upfront or installments? Hands up. Great. Could you please stand? Actually, somewhere here, we give out the forms, and the forms are just a place to fill in credit card details. There's no prices listed on it, and people fill in the prices as we talk it through. Obviously, really important that as you give them forms, you also give them pens to write on the forms. Hard to get people to fill that in if there's no pens. Done that before. Upfront it's this, installments it's that. Today only you get this and this and this. And who's in a position to do either of those? Fantastic. Could you please stand and go and see Kiri Marie and Sherry or whoever it is, and they'll get you started. And then you're left with your table and a few people, if this is you, who are still here and they still have some questions. So then you just answer questions and help people work out if it's for them or not. And that's the process. As soon as you can, you want to go over and welcome the new clients or the applicants. In our process, it's an application process, but in yours, it doesn't have to be. We're really careful about who we filter in or out. And that's how the process works. So pause. We've just done a deep dive that I've never shared outside of Black Belt on how we do the choreographed close. That's this 4-step process right here. And what I want to know is, what are 3 things that you learned, that you found valuable, that you found really, really useful and interesting? So 3 things, please type them into the box. Bounce application, you are the prize. Relax self, no pressure, slow and clearly explained. 100% no pressure because, dude, I'm just working like here's by this time, you like this, all of the selling is being done through the content. The offer is just the formalities. Filtering the clients in or out. A different approach to assume people won't buy. Yep. Take away the tension, inspiration, logistics, and the plan tools and help, says Lisa. Yes, just a really nice way to categorize your stuff. Deselection filter to the max, how to use the 6 magic pills. Yep, relax, lots of opt-ins to make sure you're talking to the right people. Yes, love that. Different approach, people won't buy. Yep. Love the get out, stay in. And everything is done with a ton of respect. Like it's respectful of my space to have only the right people in the room to talk about that. And it creates a really safe space for people who are in that room, that they're not kind of being watched or observed. They're just in there figuring out their own stuff. And it respects them to say, hey, if this isn't for you, go and enjoy lunch. Get some sunshine. That's totally cool. No pressure. Okay, so Hano asked a question. How would this be different for the very first time you're launching it versus after you have a few people in the program? This is exactly how I did my very first event. So nothing changes. Zero. The only thing that changes is in the content. You probably got less stories to tell. Totally fine. Tell your stories. 100% fine. How long is the event? This was a 2-day workshop. Yep. You could do it in a day. You could do it in 2 hours. It's the same process. You missed a bit where I talked about price. Where was that? It's right here, dude. Upfront or installments, right there. Yep. No worries. Okay. So let's just pause. Let's do a quick Q&A about events. I'm going to do 5 minutes of Ask Me Anything about events, about event sales, about designing and choreographing and all that sort of stuff. Type any questions right now. We'll do 5, and then I'm going to give you your homework today. Okay, your assignment. Joe, how do you sell from stage when you're not allowed to directly sell from stage? I'm guessing that you have a joint venture event where it's somebody else's room and you're there to teach, but you can't sell. Joe, is that right? If that's the case, then yeah, 1 hour stage time. Super easy, dude. Then what you do is you use the live event lead maximizer, and you go, what on earth is that? Well, hopefully I'll be able to find it here. Here we go. It's where you create a lead magnet, and what you do is you bring a tool, some kind of worksheet or something that's going to really help people. You show and tell. So you, partway through your talk, you're going to hold up this worksheet or this tool or this whatever it is, and you explain why it's so good and why they need it. What's going on with my computer? I think my computer's freaking out a little bit. I've got a different slide on the screen to what you've got. So, there we go. So you bring a tool and you say, here's the, you mention this thing. Later on, you pause and you talk about the thing, you play show and tell. And you say, here's what it does for you and here's how it works and da-da-da-da. And then you pitch it and pause and you say, so if you'd like it right now, then all I want you to do right now is to grab out your phone and I want you to text this word to that number. And you'll have a slide that looks a little bit like, let's say this is your worksheet. You'll talk about it at one stage. Hang on a second. Yeah, you'll talk about the worksheet and then you'll say, if you want the live event leads kit, I want you to text this word to this number to download it. And when they text the word, it'll add them to your CRM. So that's kind of how we do it. That's a black belt process, but that'll give you a little bit of an idea. Okay. So that's what you do. You get leads instead and you skim the room. Should events be a loss or break even event? It's totally up for you. Our $1 Million Coach event, it costs us about, if the ticket price is, depending on when somebody buys a ticket, $497 or $197 or $97 if they're getting a Facebook special. Yeah, of course the SMS stuff works in Entrepreneur. It totally does. Whatever the ticket price is, roughly that's what it costs us to get somebody to buy a ticket. So it's a break even for us and the money's all made at the back. Yeah, so okay, that's exactly what it is. If I don't have enough people for a group yet, but individual prospects, how long should I have these individuals wait until I have a good quorum for a group? Just start the group. Start the group right away and just let them know that the group's building and just start the group. Just don't put them in a Facebook group. Just say, hey, and we'll have a call once a week with the group of us. Dude, if you've got 4, 4's fine. and I'll coach for for that hour every Wednesday or whatever it is, and then later on you can switch it to a more group webinar. Yep. Hanno, I have 2 current similar clients. I'm not sure what that question. I don't know if that's a question for me or it's a comment. Not sure I understand. People feel special, says Jonathan. Yeah, it's totally. 1 isn't a group. 2 is almost a group, Hanno. So I think you're totally fine. The only problem is if they both don't show up, it's going to be a little bit quiet for you, but that's okay. Got to start. Everyone's got the one thing that every successful person has in common is when they started, they weren't, right? Okay. So what we're going to do right now is I want to give you your assignment for this week. You ready? So these are the 3 things I want you to get done this week if running a live event is something you actually want to work on. And if it's not, then feel free to skip, okay? Okay, so 1, 2, 3. First thing to do. If you want to do an event, we're going to get your Post-its out. Remember, your 8 categories. And you're going to do 1 Post-it note per line. You can definitely do it on a piece of paper, but a Post-it note's better because later on, then you're going to put your topics along the top and then your Post-its underneath to design out your workshop. Yeah? So number 1, you're going to get your Post-its out. Number 2, I want you to design the architecture. In other words, if you're going to do a 1-day event, decide what you're going to teach in what order. If you're going to do a 2-day event, same thing. If it's going to be just 3 hours, yeah, same. How do you work out which one to do? If you're selling something big and expensive, a day or 2 days is usually best. If you're selling something short, like a small program, then a 90 minutes or 2 hours is perfect. Okay, so then I want you to just design it out like we did right here. Figure out what your timing looks like for each piece, what you'll need to cut, and how to fit it all in together. Okay. Number 3, I want you to design out the offer. I want you to break your offer into the 3 buckets that I showed you earlier. Yeah, every client needs 3 things. They need a plan. Then they need the tools to implement said plan, and then along the way they're going to get stuck. They need some help. So I want you to just make a piece. You get a sheet of paper, you divide it into 3 columns: plan, tools, help, and just list out under each one, what do you do? Okay. It doesn't have to be a long, lengthy, elaborate list, but it's going to help you a ton in your choreographed close. Does that make sense? Cool. Perfect. So guys, 1 plus 3 works for webinars as well. Yeah, 1 plus 3 totally works for webinars as well. Yeah, totally does. In fact, 1, 2, and 3 works for webinars as well, because instead of designing it over 3 days, you'll be designing it over 3 content chunks. Yeah, 1, 2, 3. Yeah, same process. Are we having a webinar next week? Nope, we're on a break. If you're watching the video, yes, we're on next week. But for us live, we're going to have 2 weeks off. We're back on the week of the 16th, so it'll be I think it's the 19th, at least in Sydney. Cool, Christmas. It's going to be awesome. Okay, so let's pause and check in. What I want to know is, dude, we've covered heaps of ground, hey? What are the most valuable takeaways for you from today? We've talked about balancing tell, show, and ask, installing influence, and we did a quick demo with Jonathan talking about Vanessa. And we've talked about architecting it out, the 6 magic pills, choreograph close, and gone really, really deep. What did you like most from this? I just want you to give us your top 3 from today. So, okay, 8-part structure. Tell, show, ask, and the 6 magic pills. 8 pieces to installing influence. Yes. Thanks, Joe. What were the 8 categories? Dude, they're right here. Vanessa's case study. Selling from stage process in 8 pieces. Yep. The bounce. Designing the offer. Yes. Reverse engineering and using the 6 magic pills. The influence installer. Exactly. How to reverse engineer. Install influence is just the best and use of 6 pills. Perfect. So what I want you to notice, remember earlier I said that Black Belt isn't about 50 different moves. It's about, 9 basic moves that you can do effortlessly. Can you see how the moves overlap? So 6 magic pills is how you sell one-on-one. It's also how you sell from a webinar, and it's also how you sell from an event. And it's also how you design your program, right? It's how you design the program in the first place. The pieces that we use, it's not about, you don't need 50 million more pieces. You just got to get razor sharp and learn the finesse. Like if I had said today, hey, we're going to reverse engineer it, you could have said, oh yeah, that makes heaps of sense. Of course I got to reverse engineer, but you have no idea how. And the how, for example, in this particular case, came in the install influence part. Does that make sense? Choreograph close. Love how counterintuitive it is. Thanks for sharing all these goodies. Totally welcome. Cool. Guys, it's been great fun. Have an amazing Christmas if I don't talk to you soon. It's been fantastic. Lots of love. Get into action and don't let anyone tell you that you can't sign clients this side of Christmas. This week and last week have been our 2 best weeks all year, and we've had some pretty good weeks.
Okay. All right. So we are officially recording. I'll pull my screen back up. Yes. So this is week number 7. It's going to be short and sweet, to the point, but highly valuable, highly crucial. And these are just a couple of things I see that people are missing. It was something I was missing. So we're talking about your monetization plan today. Look, no one else is going to be the visionary or CEO of your business. No one else is going to focus on the monetization plan. No one else is coming to look at the bottom line. It's gotta be you. It's gotta be you, because no one else is doing it, right? So I get that all this other stuff's important. I get branding and a logo and the perfect web page and all that stuff. But without sales, without revenue, and without profit, not only do you not have a business, but you can't keep playing around with all the stuff you've been doing. So this has to be paramount. This is number 1. What is the monetization plan? So look, I got a story, because I mean, I get really passionate about stuff like this, because I've made all the mistakes. I've already made every mistake that you're afraid of making. I've already made it. And that's the difference. I'm only here because I said, well, screw it. I'm going to make the mistake, and then I'm going to, keep moving forward. And I'm still alive. I don't have any scratches or bruises. No permanent damage has been done. Just all awesome stuff, right? So, we do get afraid we're going to not do it perfect. And I say, screw perfect, right? So, okay. So we're going to rewind the clock for a moment back to 2009. That was a long time ago. 2008 or 2009. Anyways, I think it was 2009. I went to 15 conferences in 1 year. 15, 1 year. I learned more and connected with more people than today than ever. Oh my goodness, right? And someone approached me after seeing me at like 4 of the same conferences, and they finally came up to me and they're like, James, can I ask you a question? I was like, yeah, man, what's up? Sure. How do you make money? And it was like punching me in the gut, because the fact was I really wasn't making very much money. I wasn't really making any money at all. And I kept coming to these conferences and I was so excited about everything I was learning, but I wasn't going back and like looking at the profit and the revenue and sales. I was just kind of like, cool, now I learned like how to build a landing page and all that type of stuff. So this is so important, guys. It's so important. I was lucky. I was living in my parents' basement at the time, and they had a lot of patience and trust in me. And so I was allowed to make mistakes, and most people here can't afford that. You don't have that luxury to just take your time and take 2 years to just have fun and, oh, I'm doing a little thing here just for fun. It's like, no, this thing's got to be proven. It's got to start working, right? So the profit first mentality. Okay. So we have to start that conversation here today. So again, if this is your first week, this is a training program we're calling Momentum. It's an 8-week live training on how to launch your business. This is for those that are just getting started, those that have been on the sidelines watching other people, and they're like, man, I want that. How do I get started? Where do I even begin? I'm so overwhelmed. And that's what we've been going over for the last 6 weeks now into week 7. And We have all the previous trainings for you available, absolutely free. It's linked to a pinned post at the top of this Facebook group. Please go through all of them. This is not a fluff pitch program. Don't be the dummy that makes the mistake that says because it's free, it's not worth anything. Don't be that dummy. Okay? I know people that are selling courses not as good or content rich as this one. Okay? So don't be that guy or girl, okay? Go through this, and I even talked about in the first video, imagine like you've just paid me thousands of dollars for this program so that you step into your commitment. This isn't for me, but it is for you, your future, and your family. And you've got to have those type of emotional tugs to motivate us when it gets tough, when it gets boring. And that's why I commend the people that have been here 7 weeks in a row, because this stuff isn't always fun and sexy. It gets boring. It gets tough. It gets detail-oriented, right? And those people that can stick through it, beautiful things await you on the other side. Beautiful things, all right? So anyways, you're here, week 7. This is the success path from someone who's like, I really want to do this, but I have no idea. I'm so brand spanking new, right? I'm a newbie. I'm a newbie. And we've taken you through these 6 steps so far. Getting clear on your niche, putting together your website and creating a plan for all your web properties, creating a content plan. How are you going to put content out there? And what's the whole point of putting content out there? Why do people even put content out there? What's the whole point of that? Why are people so giving with all their free content? Why does people spend hours writing and making videos? Now you know if you've watched video 3. Then I show you how you can't do this alone, so you want to start outsourcing. James, I can't afford to outsource. That's because you haven't been outsourcing. Week 5, I show you how to get paid to start building your list. Number 6, last week, we talked about uncovering what your audience really wants through powerful questions and surveys. And today we're going to start figuring out what to sell. This is your monetization plan. Are you ready? Because we've got 1 more week after this, your sales system. Oh boy, get ready. All right. Here we go. Short and sweet. Monetization plan, I like to look at this into 2 categories. First of all, we have primary revenue and secondary revenue. And they really are primary, secondary. 808. Okay. Primary is your products and services. What are you selling? Your stuff. Now, the beautiful thing is that when you build an audience, the relationship that you have with one to many is one of the greatest assets, one of the most valuable things that you can do, I believe, on the planet today. You know, we look at people who have become president because of the fact that they have an audience, okay? Right? Someone who can break the mainstream political path to the top just because they have an audience. And whether you like the person there or not is a different story, but it still demonstrates the power of building that community and that relationship with you to the world. And we can do this even on a small scale. People say, I only have 300 people on my list. Have you ever seen what 300 people in a room looks like? That's a lot of people. And I like to say it's quality over quantity. Quality over quantity, right? So anyways, that's side note. But the point is that when you have that influence, that you're not only selling your products and services, but you can also recommend other products, services, and do other things to make money. So, you know, there are a couple of tools, and that you guys already know about, that I love. Like, I'm a huge fan of Kajabi. You guys know that. My entire business is on Kajabi now. We love it. It has been a game changer, and I personally believe there's nothing nearly as good on the market as Kajabi. Okay? I like to go on record to saying that. But I also use my affiliate link, and I get paid. I've gotten close to, I think, $100,000 in commissions from Kajabi. That's awesome. It's secondary revenue, but it's still revenue. And it's things to start thinking about. So, are there tools, software, products on Amazon that you love and authentically want? Just like if you had, think about this. How many times have you seen a movie that you friggin' loved, and you all of a sudden, and you tell a story to yourself, I'm not a good salesperson, right? How many times do we do that? I suck at sales. But then you just saw like It or something, which I haven't seen yet, so don't spoil it for me. We all know how it ends. But let's say you see this great movie, and you go and you tell your friends to go see it. All of a sudden, you're like the best salesperson in the world because they went and saw the movie. You just sold them on the movie, right? Wouldn't that be awesome if you got paid like 50% of the movie ticket for every person that went and saw the movie, right? That'd be awesome. So that's what I do when I have something that changes my life, even just like a book on Amazon. I recommend it, and I use an affiliate link, and I have no shame in telling people that there's an affiliate link there, right? And you don't have to have any shame in that either, because we're building a business. This is a trap that a lot of people fall into, and I want to really, really get this across to you. This business, you're building a personal brand. You're like an authority, you're a face, right? And the challenge with that, there's a lot of opportunities, but the challenge of that is that we fall into this trap that like, it's like a popularity contest. And it's about the person who is most liked and has the most friends. I mean, we literally call them friends on Facebook, right? The most likable, popular is the one that wins. And that's actually not true, okay? Because I know a lot of people that's got huge followings and they don't make any money, okay? So what happens is then when we get this audience, we're then afraid to sell them anything because we don't want that to affect our likability or our popularity. And it just gets screwy fast. So I always like to remind people, look, you're not here to make friends. You're here to build a business and serve your customers. And you can't serve your customers if you can't stay in business. Plain and simple. Plain and simple, right? So very important thing to keep in mind. So I have no shame in saying, hey, and this is my affiliate link. Big whooping deal. You don't have to use it. I don't force people to use my affiliate link. But how else can we create secondary revenue? Things that bring in a little bit of money, but like every little penny is awesome to receive, right? So promoting other people's products and services, products on Amazon, tools that you recommend, sponsorships, right? If you got a podcast or something like that, can you sponsor? I mean, I don't know how many deals have come across my table. I say no to all of them, where people want to leverage my YouTube channel today and be like, hey, I think I had someone like get me wanted me to wear a suit, like a custom suit, and they'd pay me like a couple $1,000s to just mention the suit in the video or something like that. I mean, this stuff happens all the time. These opportunities are everywhere, and I wouldn't want you to ignore them. However, today we're just talking about primary revenue. It's called primary for a reason. You got to lead with your stuff, and then you can throw in all the other stuff as well. Okay, so primary revenue is stuff that you're going to be selling. Now, I've identified, maybe there's more, but I've identified 7 ways to make money with what you know in your head. All right, so let's write these down. I'm gonna bring these out. Maybe just take a screenshot with your camera or something like that. First of all, there's done for you services. If you know how to do Facebook ads, you can just do them for other people, and you can get paid to do that, right? Then there is the one-to-one coaching or consulting, where it's like, hey, you and I are going to work together. Now then there's in-person workshops, like physical in the real world, right? Workshops or live events. And these are events, by the way, this just a little asterisk here. These are things that could be free or paid. Well, how are you going to make money with a free event? Well, you could sell a service at the event. You could sell coaching at the event. I think, ladies and gentlemen, that if you're not thinking about doing a workshop or live event in the next 18 months, you should, because when everyone talks about like, oh, there's saturation, there's so many people doing this, this is probably, easily, hands down, the number one way to separate yourself from everyone else, because you're going to create a level of connection with your customers that is unparalleled. And this is what people want. When you really get this, when you become Neo or Trinity in the Matrix, you realize what people are really looking for is they're craving a deeper sense of connection and community. They're doing the thing that they're doing. They feel alone. They feel lost. And when they can come together with other people, it's a gift. That is one of the most valuable things you can do. That's why I went to 15 events in 1 year, right? Okay. So you can do free events. You can do paid events. If you do free, you want to charge something there. You want to pitch something, right? Now let's talk about some online stuff. We can do virtual group coaching. You can also do in person as well, group coaching. We actually do that ourselves. Online courses, they're the bee's knees, aren't they? Membership sites where basically people are incentivized. That's a key word here. They are incentivized to continue paying month after month. And then there's something that I have, which is called a mastermind. We're going to talk about the last 4 here today in a moment. 4, 5, 6, and 7, because these are all online and they're leverage, because that's what we're looking for. One of my favorite words, ladies and gentlemen, leverage. We are looking for leverage. My brain is wired for leverage. Gosh, that would be a great affirmation for you. I find new and exciting opportunities for leverage each and every day. Okay? What does leverage mean? Well, my definition of leverage is I do one thing and it gets me at least 3 results. 1 to 3 minimum, right? So leverage means I can create a course and then I can have thousands buy it, right? So one-to-one or a done-for-you service isn't really leverage. So we're looking at those last 4, right? Just to go back again. Group coaching, online course, membership site, or mastermind. These are more what we call leveraged offers, okay? So we're going to look at that today. All right. However, I want to expand the mind a little bit and show you to look beyond number 1, which is teaching. Just to think a little differently here today. Teaching. Okay? So there's also coaching and consulting. There's community. There's masterminding. And there's what I call the wheel. So this is how to provide value, because that's what you got to do, folks. If you're selling something and you want people to pay you, they're going to pay you if it's providing value in their lives. Is it solving a problem? Is it making them a better person? Are they getting a better experience in their life? Are they getting some result that they desire? And we can do this in 5 ways. And a lot of people just stick with number 1, don't they? Teaching. Well, I'll just put together a course. There's so many opportunities. Okay? So obviously teaching is the simple act of extracting knowledge from your brain and jamming it into their brain. Here you go, right? That's what I'm doing right now. It's like, here's 5 things. Here you go. Write these down, right? Hopefully you'll remember them, okay? That's transference of knowledge is teaching. Now, coaching and consulting, you got to know that that's different than teaching. And in my opinion, that's much more valuable. And this is where I think most people, not you guys, are effing stupid. A lot of passion here. How many times have you heard someone say, why would I ever buy this online product when you can find everything for free on the internet? No, you can't. You can't find everything for free on the internet. You can only find what you're looking for. How do you know what to look for if you don't know what not to look for? You can't find what you don't know to look for. And that's where coaching comes in. You can only find what you know what to look for. And we all have what are called blind spots. Do you realize that everyone listening to this call, myself included, I am not excluded from this. This is no one talking down to anybody. Okay? Everyone here listening has things that they want in their life and in their business, but life is everything, right? And you're not getting at least one of those things. And you don't know why. There's at least one thing that you're like, I can't seem to figure this thing out. Something is missing, but you don't know what it is. Because if you knew, you would have figured it out by now. This is called a blind spot, the area in which we can't see. And the right coach coaches you past this. And rarely is it another piece of information or content. And if you guys saw listened to my latest episode on the Mind Your Business podcast, we talked so much about the be, do, have model, where we start with who we are being in the world and shifting who we are at the identity level. And that's a great example. There's no course on how to be. You cannot read a book on how to be a leader, finish the book, and say, I know how to lead. There is no book on how to swim. And when you finish the book, you sit there and say, I now know how to swim. So coaching, the right coaching, of course, is when someone helps you when you are out there in the field playing the game and they can point out your blind spots. Okay. So important. But you guys have to know the distinction, the difference there, right? It's so much more valuable. Anybody can just memorize content and say, here's the 20 things you got to know. So you elevate yourself to a coach and your value goes way up. All right, let's talk about community since I just ranted about coach for so long. Community, what did I say? People are craving connection. I know people that are monetizing communities and they're not even teaching or coaching in them, but you just pay to be a part of the community. And that's something to think about. Masterminding. Okay, masterminding kind of takes 1, 2, and 3 and lumps them together in an environment where people are more concerned about who else is in the group than anything else. So I run a mastermind, and the members in my mastermind are extraordinary. Their growth this year alone is unbelievable. People have been 3, 5, and 10xing their revenue. And the beautiful thing is I do very little other than just hold the space for that group. And it's because they're in a room with like-minded individuals. They challenge each other. They push each other. They encourage each other. And they've just been going like this, like this, like this. And it's unbelievable to watch. And that's what masterminding is. They all coach each other. And I've seen it. It's unbelievable where one person has a blind spot or a belief in their mind that they can't do something. And 18 people, 17 other people will sit there and say, yeah, right, BS, you can totally do it. And it becomes a 17-1. And the majority wins on that one, right? So super valuable. So the value you're providing there is you're bringing together high caliber, like-minded individuals. Okay. Now, the wheel, what is the wheel? Huh? Okay. You know the whole phrase, don't reinvent the wheel. Don't reinvent the wheel. So give them the wheel. If you'll notice, if you look at my signature program, Business by Design, it is the wheel of your online business. Everything that I could possibly build for you, we've built for you. All the processes, checklist, launch track, everything, right? So you don't have to learn something and then recreate it, right? So how can you create done for you stuff for your audience? This is a fantastic way to create leverage value. Templates. Can you do something like, like contract templates or something like that, or graphic templates, or any other type of resources that people go, man, I can just download and use this, right? Like copy, or a sales page template or something, right? You want to start thinking that way. How can you get people to save hours of their time because you've done 90% of the work for them? It's paint by numbers, fill in the blank, done. Okay. 5 ways that we can leverage our value. You can teach it in a course or a group coaching program. You can coach in a group coaching format. And you can do this on a live coaching call. You can do this in person at an event. You can connect people together, versus whether it's online or offline. You can do masterminding, which kind of combines coaching and community. And you can deliver resources, templates, and tools for your peeps, not just content. Think beyond content, guys. Start to separate yourself. Like if you create a course and I could just copy and paste the course and rebrand it, what's stopping other people from doing that? We need to start thinking of ways that we can elevate our brand and stand out and not be replicable, duplicatable, etc. Okay, so we're going to quickly go through my favorite types because I've done all of these, right? So for those people on the call who know, I've done probably about 20 online courses, maybe a little more, group coaching programs, live events, workshops, paid and free, mastermind, one-on-one. I've done it all. Really have. So we're going to go through some of these really quickly. Let's talk about group coaching. Like, what is it? What are the pros and cons, right? A group coaching offer combines content and training with some sort of live virtual component. This is kind of like a group coaching thing, right? We're doing this together. We're doing it live. What would be really cool is how can you then, like, okay, maybe they have like, after this call, you get with your accountability partner, or, you get together in groups and you do work together, right? You kind of make it more of a collective group, right? We're in this together is kind of the feeling. Now, here's the pros. Okay. With a group coaching program, you can charge considerably more than like an ebook, a membership site, or an online course. You can put a higher price tag. Why? It's higher perceived value. I'm doing this along with you. You're going to get more attention from me. It's more of an experience. People want experiences. So that's a pro. The other pro is that you can sell it before creating anything. Do you guys think I created all these slides before I started this 8-week program? No, I practice what I preach. Okay, so you can get paid first. That's why I love starting with something like this. Now, here's the con. It's not as scalable. It's not as scalable because you still have to show up for it. So it is going to take some of your time. And, you have to say like, well, how many people could I really bring into it? It depends on what the offer is specifically. If you start offering one-on-one time with them, you really bring down the possibilities for scaling. But it's not going to be as scalable as like an online course that could be selling by itself 24/7. Okay, so that's group coaching. All right, let's talk about online courses. Everyone loves online courses. Pre-recorded digital content in a protected members area. There is about the most plain, simple definition I could give you for that one. Pro, it is going to be the most scalable. I really do think most scalable of leveraged offers. Excuse me. With the opportunity to create some passive income, what I call active passive income. Cons. This is so true. No one wants an online course. Quicker you get that, better off you'll be, my friends. No one wants an online course. Okay. No one wants an online course. Why would someone want an online course when they could just have someone do it for them? Right? No one wants more stuff that they have to go through. What they do want is the result at the other end of it. Okay? Think about it this way. Think about a book that you've picked up and really wanted to read. Like let's just choose a classic 4-hour work week. Oh, yeah, I want to read this book. Do you want to read this book or do you want a 4-hour work week? If you're really honest with yourself, that was probably what you wanted. It was like, oh man, that sounds great, a 4-hour work week, right? But if the book was titled 4 years of working your ass off so that you can make more money, but have more responsibility and commitments in your life by Tim Ferriss, would you still want to read that book, right? It's the idea of the possibility of the transformation that creates the desire, not the mechanism, not the vehicle, which is online course. Quicker you realize that no one wants an online course, the quicker you will be successful selling them. Does this make sense? I hope so. And then, okay, I know there's going to be 2 or 3 people that are like, I love online courses. Like, I know there's always 2 or 3 weirdos, but you wouldn't take an online course on basket weaving, right? So you take courses because you like learning about new things. Okay. All right, let's move on. Memberships, an online portal where members pay monthly. They are incentivized to pay monthly to remain a member. Okay. So the pros, hey, you don't need to sell as much because you only do one actual transaction with a member. Okay. So that's nice. And then you get paid again and again and again and again. That was why I started a membership. I was like, man, I don't really like selling. What if they could just keep paying me every month? So I started a membership that does $500,000 a year. That's awesome. Con, it's going to be a harder sell. It's a harder sell because not only do people not like online courses, but they don't want to be billed month after month for something. People don't really like that idea. I don't really want to be paying you every month with no end in sight. You better give me a darn good reason why I'm doing that. Okay. So it does become a harder sell. So one of the things is that I like to say that a membership is really great for an audience that has a smaller market. What's the word I'm looking for? Like they don't spend a lot, right? A cheaper audience, I guess. It's the only way I can think about it. It's not what I meant, but you don't spend as much, right? So like, if you look in the fitness industry, that's a great example. Fitness people don't pay $2,000 for a course in fitness, but to pay $20 a month, well, they'll spend $20. And so people, what they do is they sell like $50 to $100 courses, but it's like, why not charge $20 a month, 20, $30 a month to give them monthly workouts? And the people that I've seen, like we have a member in our mastermind, she's got a Pilates membership. A good friend and past student of mine has a yoga membership, and they charge only like 20, $30 a month, but they have thousands of members. So they go on volume, right? Versus let me try and sell this high-end product to this person. So a membership is going to be really great for those people who have the opportunity to get a large volume, but low threshold for payment. Like they don't pay a lot of money for stuff. Oh yeah, this is a big con, is if you have other products, like I really found that for me, this is all based on my own personal experience, having a membership can start to compete with your other products. So if I'm selling a membership for $20 a month, and then I have a product for $2,000, it doesn't even matter what that product is for $2,000. People start saying, well, why would I pay $2,000 if I could pay $20? Okay. So one thing I always encourage my students in Business by Design is we got to start looking at the big picture of all your product offerings, not just each one individually as a silo, because they need to actually work together. Okay. So we got to think beyond one offer and look at everything we possibly want to offer. And inside Business by Design, we talk about this concept called the ascension model, which is really taking people through levels inside your inside your world. Okay. Masterminds, my personal favorite. This is either virtual or in-person experience that follows a very specific format that allows for the group to provide the coaching. Oh, so good. Pro, very high ticket. This is going to be the thing you charge the most for in terms of leveraged offers. I think you would charge more if you like worked one-on-one with someone. But this is going to be your highest ticket price. So my mastermind's $25,000 a year, right? But it's for a year. Okay. I would recommend it being a year-long program. It's very effective. Holy moly. My members this year have even experienced more growth than last year. I mean, it's unbelievable. Very effective. So we should be doing things that are very effective, right? How many times have you bought an online course and you didn't even go through it? Okay. This is not the case. This is very effective. Con, it is a big commitment. Okay, so you know that there's a lot of benefits to the online course, right? It's scalable. There's passive income. This is going to take time and effort and energy. You know, one of the things we had to realize was like running an in-person mastermind means we need to be like an event planning company. We're calling hotels and researching venues and doing contracts, and it's like, oh my goodness, you know. So there are some cons there. Also, this is tough. This is the hardest thing for people to get. If you were to sell a mastermind, you don't just take whoever's money anybody who's willing to throw you money, you take it. No. It's gotta be the right people. And we've gotten really clear on that. It's gotta be the right members because it's based on, look at the definition again, that allows for the group to provide the coaching. So if you have members that aren't really clear on what they're doing and they're lost and confused and they're kind of in a victim mode, they can't really help other members in the group. So you have to find people that are already successful and getting results, and maybe they're struggling in one area, but they're really good in another area. That way there's this beautiful like complementary aspect with all the members. Okay. So that is your training for today. That is the content. Let's get into this week's homework. Hopefully you've been staying on top of your action items. I've got 4 things for you today, 3 + 1 bonus. Number 1, choose your offer type. What are you going to be selling? You got to figure that out because it's week 7 and we're talking monetization plan, baby. What's your monetization plan? What are you going to be selling? Okay. Number 2, create a rough outline for your offer. Ooh, can you start getting, all right, what's it going to include? What am I going to have? Just some ideas. Rough outline is the key word here. Don't make it perfect. Okay. And then number 3, what's the ideal price that you would love to sell this for? Notice the question. In an ideal world, if you could just wave the magic wand, what would you love to sell this for? What would you be excited about selling it for? Not the question, oh, what do you think people will actually pay? And can people afford this? What would you love to sell this for? What price point? How much would get you really excited? What price would make you feel really proud and accomplished? Okay? You're going to answer those 3. Bonus. Oh, if you can get those first boom, 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 pitch this idea to 3 people, any 3 people. Oh, in person or over phone, though. No Facebook message or anything. Pitch the idea to 3 people. Doesn't matter. I don't care if it's your spouse. I don't care if it's your 4-year-old daughter. Pitch it to 3 people before next week. Why? Why would we do that? Because the more we speak to what we're creating, the more we speak it into existence. The more we clarify it, the more concise we get, the more feedback we get from others. If someone's going, I don't understand, what are you talking about? And you say, okay, maybe I need to clarify this. Maybe I need to communicate it more effectively. Maybe it changes. Maybe you go back to the drawing board. Okay. We're going to stop keeping everything in here and we got to start playing the game out there. Okay. This is your action item. This is your homework. I'm going to take a few minutes of questions. So I'll look to see if there are questions. Yeah, Jane says 1 bad apple in a mastermind can ruin it for everyone. Yep, that's why I kick them out, which is always fun. Which I did do that. Okay, so let's see. Questions. Type them in. And I will get to them. We'll do a few minutes of these. I'm just kind of looking through them right now. There is no spoon. Thank you, Dave. Yes, you know what you know, but not what you don't know. You know what I mean. Love it. Okay. Is anyone else having trouble seeing the video? I hope not, Lori. I hope it got fixed for you. So what is the alternative to online courses if no one wants them? I didn't say there was being an alternative. I said as soon as you realize no one wants an online course, you'll get better at selling them. See, that's the biggest mistake people are making. They're trying to sell an online course. You guys will get it. My BBD members get it. Yeah, people are trying to sell the vehicle, not the transformation. Okay, so sounds like the video isn't playing for some people, but is for others. I hope it'll be okay on the replay. Ben says, what other programs would you recommend? This doesn't really work with what I'm doing. I have no idea what you're talking about. Which programs? Tell me more. Programs. What do you mean programs? Let me know. Melanie says, fabulous content as always. Thank you. Sharon says, I pitched this in front of my peers in my entire state Saturday. Awesome. Let's see. Yeah, some of you guys are saying the video is fine. That's good. Okay. Yes, Carla nailed it. You're not selling the course. You're selling the result, the transformation. Very well. Very good. How do we know how to find it? The idea when we have several ideas in a single niche. Fantastic question, Jason. Go back to module 6. Stop trying to guess when all we have to do is ask. It makes it so easy. It should be too easy. Terry, that is exactly what I'm saying. Are you saying to sell the results of an online course and not the course? Yes, absolutely. Merlina says, could a mastermind be called something else? The term might intimidate some people. Yeah, of course. You can call whatever you want. It depends on your niche. I think in the online marketing space, people love that term, but they might not like it somewhere else. So that's a really good question. Okay, let me do a quick refresh here and see a couple more questions coming in. Thank you guys, by the way, for tuning in with me. First thing on your Monday of a brand new week of awesome possibilities. This is your time. This is the day. This is the week where you can create something extraordinary in your life. Isn't this exciting? Right now in this moment. I always geek out about that. Like right now, I could go do something I've never done before. Start a new habit, a new action, go in a different direction, create something different in my life. You all have that power. And I do not take it lightly that you guys joined me here, hung out with me for 44 minutes, first thing, Monday morning, at least if you're on the West Coast, it's first thing in the morning. That is awesome. A little excited. Okay. Lynn says, I love the idea of a membership, but what with the low price point? I'm concerned about spend on advertising to get the thing kicked off. Any advice? Yes, you want to look at average lifetime value of a member. So with, look, you can do high ticket membership sites, okay? You can charge 100, 200, 300, 400. It depends on your market. I didn't say you have to do a low ticket, okay? Did not say that. But what you want to look at when you're calculating those numbers, and this is stuff we talk about in Business by Design, is the average lifetime value. If you have a $100 a month membership and someone says 6 months, each person is worth on average $600. They're not worth 100, they're worth 600. So when you start to know those numbers, you're like, oh, I can actually spend a little bit more. You might be negative for a month, but it's the people that know their numbers the best and are willing to go negative for a day, a week, a month, or whatever, but know that they will be positive in the future. They're the ones that win the advertising game. Okay. Randy says, thank you, James. Loving this course. Randy, thank you. Loving the comments. Okay. Roy Yes, nailed it. You're selling the information, but rather you're selling the transformation. Yeah. Catherine also asked, I have too many ideas. She has as many ideas as she has O's in her two. How do I decide which idea to start with? Fantastic question. Always ask your audience. Never. I mean, look, I'm a huge fan of intuition. Huge fan of intuition. We all have it. Okay. If you want to know how to tap into your intuition, start listening to the Mind Your Business podcast right here, because I run my business through intuition. But, I mean, and I'm also getting feedback from my audience. I actually let my intuition guide me to who I'm going to talk to and what I'm going to talk about with my audience, so I can receive clarity on what the next product or idea is. So give yourself a little break, okay? Take all the pressure off your shoulders for a moment and realize, wait a second, I don't need to make this decision. I don't need to pick from a million ideas. I just need to pick one, and I can let my audience tell me what that one idea is. The homework last week was to talk to people on the phone. They'll tell you. They'll totally tell you. Right? You just got to listen. You got to listen. You got to listen closely. You guys have told me what you want. I listen. Right? Just listen. Okay? Take the pressure off for a moment. You don't need to have all this. And here's the thing. Here's the other thing, is that a lot of times when we have too many ideas, we think that we can't do them all. It's just one at a time. Try this one first. Okay, let's try the next one. Okay, let's try the next one. I have ideas that I'm implementing now that I've had for 3 years. You'll get around to them. All right, let's take another minute or two of questions. These are all fantastic questions. You guys are all fantastic and amazing. Oh dear. Let's see. A lot of questions came in. I'm trying to get back to where I left off. Victoria says, have an assistant, have made 11 videos and putting together an in-person course that will be converted into an online course. Victoria Knight, boom, way to kick some butt. That's what I'm talking about. Well done. Well done. Ben says, if I had to pick one of these, which would you recommend? Are you going to I don't know. Are you asking about which one of my courses to buy? If you're asking which one, I would say absolutely Business by Design, but it's not open for like a couple more weeks. Is that what you're asking, Ben? Let me know. Stephanie Leach, initially I want to offer a 6-week one-on-one coaching program. Then after working with 10 people, create either a membership site or a group program to create some leverage. Stephanie, I love it. You sound like someone who's very clear on what they want, and those people tend to get what they want. It's a plan. If you love it, rock with it. Know that you can change it. Know that you can say, "Oh, I'll just do 5 people." You can do 1 person, right? But it's a plan, and I love it. I think it's awesome. Oh, James is getting excited. I know I do get a little excited. All right. Matthew says, can you say a little bit more about what virtual coaching looks like? What group size works well? How much interaction does just opening to Q&A at the end of a webinar count as group coaching? It totally can. Yeah, it totally can. Look, I could speak for hours about group coaching, Matt, but number one, I want to empower everybody here on this call. I know this is not the answer you want to hear. You want to hear like, here's the exact blueprint for the perfect group coaching program. But you should be empowered to create it the way you want to create it. So what I would first do is start with what's called your non-negotiables. What are the things that you are absolutely not willing to do, right? Like, I'm not going to do 50 people and I'm going to do a one-on-one call for 50 people, right? So I'm going to do no one-on-ones, okay? And how long do you want it to go? What are you going to love about it? What are you not going to love about it? And you start to create it from there. Then we start talking, okay, well, what's the promise? What's the result? What am I going to get them at the end? What's the transformation to them? And then you start asking, okay, what is it going to take to get them there? What are they going to need from me? What are they going to need from each other? What's this going to look like? The quality of our lives and the quality of our group coaching programs is determined by the quality of questions we ask. So we just stay in that question. I can help you further from that, but that's a big call in terms of like how you want to structure it based on the promise, based on the niche, based on the length of time, based on the format. I ultimately want to empower you to say you can do this any way that you want, and you will do it the first time, and you will make mistakes, and you'll say, oh, that didn't work, and oh, that did work, and you will grow from there. What I don't want is everybody to follow the same cookie cutter model, even though I know that's what you guys want. I totally get that. Terry says, what were some of the reasons that you moved from WordPress to New Kajabi? I feel like if I move, I'd lose recent investments, although the all-in-one seems very appealing. Okay, Terry, the very short answer is that when you're on WordPress, number one, if your site crashes, if it breaks, if it stops working, that's on you. Like we would have hosting problems and crap go down at 11 at night and some, 20 customers going, the site's not working. I want a refund. This is bullshit. Blah, 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 blah. That doesn't happen on Kajabi. The site doesn't go down. I mean, there's had a few like glitches where it's like, hey, site's down for 10 minutes. But you don't have to drop everything and hire a programmer and get in there at 2 a.m. and try and fix it. So there's a massive level of peace of mind. Okay. The other thing is we have found WordPress to be janky, to be slow. It's kind of like the duct tape solution. It's like, I got to get this plugin to do this and then that. Oh, and now WordPress upgraded. So this plugin's out of date, which means I can't no longer use it. So I got to go find. And it's just like, like you're trying to spend hours to save $100. Like it's just not worth it. It's not worth it. Life is so much easier. The level of technical proficiency that my team needs has dropped drastically by being on Kajabi. Drastically. So the site loads better. The site looks better. Things work. And yes, of course, it's all in one. So I can create courses in there. I can manage my members in there. I can do sales pages and checkout pages and upsells and affiliate referral programs. Like, it's unbelievable. Unbelievable. Okay. Pamela says, I love this course. Thank you. So you seem to combine teaching, group coaching, and community. It seems that then you can shift in process more easily depending on the group need, right? Well, no, not necessarily. I'm not necessarily combining those. I'm just saying that those are all at your disposal and you could combine them. You could have a separate offer for each. It's totally up to you. Like I've bought weight loss programs and like fitness programs that are like, it's like a $49 ebook and it comes with a couple of videos and an ebook. There's no community. There's no coaching. There's no nothing. That's great. Paid my $49. I loved it. Right. I don't want coaching. I don't want to get on a webinar for an hour for someone to like tell me about a workout plan. You know what I mean? So I don't need the community. So different offers for different folks, different offers, different types of value. It's completely up to you. My job here today was to like lay it all on the line as like a buffet and say, here's what the successful people are doing. Here's the different ways that you could package it. Here are the pros and cons of each. They all have their pros and cons. But we have online courses that are just like straight passive online course. We have memberships. We have masterminds. We have group coaching programs. We have workshops. We have live. I mean, I have it all. And I'm not telling anybody here, you got to have it all. You just got to pick one and you got to get started. So I hope that helps. Guys, I know there's some more questions that have come in. We have a 9 a.m. team meeting, so I have to be moseying on. But thank you guys so much for being here. If you came late, make sure to catch the replay. If you haven't got caught up, go get caught up. The rest of our previous trainings are in Kajabi now, and that's linked in the pinned post at the top of this group. You guys are awesome. It is Monday. Monday morning of a whole new week of possibilities. So go out there and start creating. And I'll see you next week for our last live class. I'm going to cry. No, I will save the tears for next week. Thank you. Thank you. Talk to you soon.
That would always be good. So we are recording. This is week number 2. Let's get up to the slide. Okay. So this is week number 2 of our 8-week live training boot camp that I'm giving you guys absolutely free, no catch, no pitch, no fluff, no excuses. This is for those who are looking to start a digital business, selling digital products, an online course, a membership site, group coaching, even something in person like a live event, a workshop, retreat, maybe just ebooks, whatever. Now, we'll get into all that. That's coming. But there's a lot of foundational work. If we're starting at the ground zero, we've got a little bit of groundwork to cover, which I'm trying to get through as fast as possible so we can get to the really fun stuff. Okay? So I'm just going to, before we jump into the training, I just like to do a second test to make sure that my screen is coming up okay, that you guys can still hear me, and it looks like you can. Let me just test on my phone. It looks like we're good. Okay. All right. Let me bring this up. So you guys, I'm not really going to be able to see your questions while I'm going through today's presentation. But still, put them in there, and we'll do some Q&A at the end if that sounds good, okay? All right, so we are on week number 2. This is our agenda. This is your 8-week plan. This is what we're doing together. Last week, we covered niche clarity. Now, the question is did you watch that video? It is now vaulted in the members area, which you can still access for free, but it's off of Facebook. Now, the bigger question is, did you do the homework? Now, something I noticed was I did give homework, and a lot of people did the homework at the 11th hour. Like, I got a lot of people who posted their homework late last night or early this morning, okay? And it's the same thing when we sell a course or a product. Most people buy at the last minute. Now, I'm not here to shame you. I'm not here to make you wrong. I'm not here to be a jerk, period. I do, however, want you to observe if that is your behavior. Because what we want to begin to do is flip that script. And that if this is something that is important to you, so it might not be. You might be like, I don't want to do this. My spouse is making me do this or something. I don't know. But if you're like, no, this is something extraordinarily important to me, it shouldn't be something that's put to the end of our schedule and our time. But we need to find out a way to make time, space, and energy for doing this at the beginning of our day and of our week. Okay? It's so important. That's one reason why I'm doing these first thing Monday morning. Okay? So I'd be really mindful of that for yourself. But then, of course, there were still a lot of people that didn't do the homework at all. And there's a lot of people that are probably like me, or at least how I used to be, which is a recovering perfectionist, which was I was more concerned with getting it right and perfect than doing it at all. So if you find yourself overthinking, well, you don't even think it's overthinking, thinking a lot about what you should do and how it should look, and you're not actually doing the work, then you probably are also a recovering perfectionist. And here is the problem with that. All the actual lessons, all the insight, all the magic happens in the work. I want you to write that down. You can put any word there you want, but I'm going to use the word magic. All the magic happens in the work. In the work. You will have, and by magic, I mean lessons, insights, breakthroughs. Okay? You may not have niche clarity. You may not know what your niche is. But I promise you this, you can go through 100 courses and you can scratch your head and think about it 100 times all day, and you still won't get the clarity. The clarity will come when you finally jump in. That's the difference, okay? Now, that's why every week I'm giving you action items and opportunities to jump in. So there is that cliche quote. You know, sometimes I just roll my eyes at these cliche quotes I see on Instagram all day, and I'm sure you do as well. But life begins outside your comfort zone. Or that's where the magic happens, right outside your comfort zone. You guys have all heard that, right? There is profound truth in these what have become cliche axioms, right? Profound truth. So I do agree with that. What this is really about is finding the edge of your comfort zone. Where is the edge of your comfort zone right now? And not about just living life outside your comfort zone, but continue to expand the boundary of your comfort zone. Okay? Because here's what happens. Most entrepreneurs don't walk around saying, oh, that's the edge of my comfort zone. I guess I should do it. What they do is they talk themselves out of the necessary next steps to take with logic. It's oversaturated. It's just not a good time right now. Or, we're going into summer, so people aren't really around. I'll just wait until this time. I cannot tell you how many times I've done that to myself. So the problem with being smart, because that's what I used to think. I was like, I'm really smart. I can figure this stuff out. Well, I realized that the smarter I was, the smarter I got at talking myself out of what I needed to do. Think about that for a moment. Okay? So if you find yourself talking yourself out of the necessary action, I want you to see if you can catch yourself in the act. Yeah, the thing is it's just now is just not a good time because I'm working on this other thing. I know I really want to be doing this, but I got to do this other thing, and it's summer anyways, and blah, blah, blah. Look, it can always be put off in the future, folks. Okay, so this is really about getting you into action. All right, enough about that. Let's talk about week number 2. I do want to recap week number 1, but we're going to talk about your web real estate. I'll go over this stuff in a minute. But if you remember from week 1, we talked about the mega markets. If you're selling digital products, 90% of all digital products will fall into one of these 3 mega markets. Okay, there are a few outliers as always, but that's the majority. It's really nice. Now, then we talked about how to niche that down from a mega market to the niche to your specialty, the thing that's going to make you unique. Okay, and then I reminded you that the riches are in the niches. Okay, the riches are in the niches. Which means, and I showed you the niche authority graph. When you are unknown, see, that's a big objection a lot of people have. They said, that's great, James, but everyone knows you. You've been doing this for so long, everyone knows you. Okay? So the secret is, if no one knows you outside your friends and family, if you're not known yet, the way you become known is super niche-y. That's the secret. The more specific you get on what your specialty is, and it's going to feel very uncomfortable. I make, YouTube videos about virtual home tours for real estate agents who are generating over $100,000 a year. Like, that's your specialty. Okay? It's going to feel uncomfortable. First, you're going to say, no, James, I want the slap chop. I want the what was it, the squeegee one? What was that one? I want the universal product that everyone wants. Everyone needs this, so my market is everyone. That's one of the biggest mistakes people make. That's not going to be your mistake. So I said it here. It's on the record because we're recording. Okay? So it's up to you if you want to make that mistake or not. But you should be uncomfortably niched down. Okay, that's our recap. Now, this is very simple stuff we're going over here today. It's simple in terms that it's not going to take that long to explain it. It's no rocket science or anything like that. We're just going to talk about the exact tools and software you need, and even like how to create a website, because you do need that stuff. I would love to know if you guys could type in the comment box if you don't mind sharing. Do you have a website right now? Website yes, website no. I just kind of want to know from you guys if you do, like a website for the business you're building, because it does kind of help to know where you guys are at with that. Okay, cool. All right, let's refresh on the big picture strategy. Okay, I pride myself on being able to create a simple, clear picture of the whole thing. I can't tell you how many of my students have come to me and they said, James, I get this piece, I get that piece, and I get this piece, but how do I connect it all together? How do I make this whole thing work as a system? A system is just a collection of moving parts that work together in harmony to produce a desired outcome. So we need a big picture system of how your business is going to operate, just like a pocket watch. You open it up and you take it apart and you see all these gears and dials and springs and all these things that all work together to produce one result, which is tell the time accurately. Well, we should do the same thing with your business. We should be able to pull it apart or open it up and say, here's all these moving pieces that work together and, synchronicity and in the same, togetherness in order to produce one desired result. Just make you money, profit, right? And the simpler we can make this, the better, okay? The simpler we can make this, the better. Now, it all comes down again to TLC, traffic, leads, and customers. So your business has to be able to do these three things. I've got to get visitors to my stuff. I've got to turn those visitors into interested leads or prospects. I got to build my list. And then I have to convert those leads or subscribers into customers. So it's not just 3 ingredients on a piece of paper. It's also the recipe, right? You need them in that order. You need traffic to get leads and then leads to get customers. And the more traffic you get, the more leads you get. The more leads you get, the more customers you get, okay? If you want to make it more complicated, you can, but I won't help you make it more complicated. It is that simple. And when I draw it out, I draw out 2 circles. So if you haven't drawn this image yet, you're going to want to do it. 2 circles, okay? The circle on the left has a line through the middle of it where we're going to do 2 things. We're going to create a platform and we're going to set up paid advertising. Now, you're not going to learn paid advertising in this training, but you can learn the concept of paid advertising here. Okay, I have a course on paid advertising, so you're not going to learn it here. But what you do need to know is that in order to be successful on this, you need traffic and leads. Your platform and paid advertising are 2 ways to do that. So you have a platform where you're giving away free, valuable content, daily, weekly, monthly, whatever. Okay, and then you're going to have paid advertising, which we'll get traffic and leads from. So you got to look at it this way. There's the tortoise and there's the hare, okay? The tortoise and the hare. Now, I know the tortoise won the race, but they both did really good job, right? Okay, your platform is free content, a podcast, blog, YouTube. It's free and organic, but it's slow. If you started a YouTube channel today, it would take time. You don't just make a video and then open up your email tomorrow and you've got 10,000 visitors. It doesn't happen that way. It's slow. It's organic. It takes time, but it's free. So you might as well do it. With paid advertising, it costs money, but it's instant. It's instant. So you either spend your time or you spend your money. Okay, look, let me say that again. If you want to make money, you're going to have to invest one or the other. Or both. My answer is both. Time or money. Okay? I like to do both. And my opinion, my advice to you is that you should do both as well. So a lot of people say, I don't want to do paid ads because it costs money. Well, making a weekly YouTube video or a podcast, my podcast is 2 years old now. It takes time. And as my dad always said, time is money. Okay? All right, so you guys got that, and then we need a sales system. So you're building your list through a platform and paid advertising, and you're sending people into a sales system. You're going to have all of this will continue to be unfolded and unpacked over 8 weeks, but it doesn't need to be any more complicated than that. It does not need to be any more complicated. And I can't make it any more simple than that, okay? But what about this? But what about that? If it doesn't fall into here, it's, you don't need to do it, okay? There is one more circle, and that is just serving your customers, but that's an obvious one. We're kind of talking just the marketing strategy, right? Okay, so we're talking about the software that you need to run this business. There's only 5 categories of software that you need. Let's go through them really quickly. You're gonna need a website. That's a gimme. You're gonna need what's called CRM, or email marketing software. Something to manage a database of people who opt in. So a way to contact them, to keep their contact records, et cetera, et cetera. You're gonna need a shopping cart, or a way for people to pay you. You're gonna need a paid members area, and you're gonna need a landing page or opt-in page building software. Okay. Now there's other stuff, but these are the 5 big ones. Okay. This is really all we need to focus on. Okay, so let me go over the function of each one. Your website is your hub. It's your home. It's where people are going to find you. It's where people are going to start to do their research on you when they hear about you. Like, one of the number one ways that people get to my website is they're Googling my name. Okay, so if they heard me, maybe they listened to a podcast episode that was shared, and they were like, man, that was a good podcast episode, but who is this guy? And they go search me, and I've got this crappy, ugly POS website from 1999. They're not going to be impressed. They're not going to keep going. But if they get there and the website is very clear, it says exactly how I help my audience, and it becomes a platform for list building, now it becomes a very valuable tool in my business. We'll talk about this more today, okay? So it's a platform for list building. Email marketing software, the function of that is, this is how you're going to actually stay in contact with your prospects and customers, by emailing them, okay? Shopping cart is how you get paid. You need a way for people to pay you, okay? Sometimes people forget that piece. Paid members area is where you're going to put your content, okay? And a landing page builder, this is where you're going to build marketing pages, opt-in pages, and sales pages. And you say, but James, I have a website. Do I need this? Look, here's the deal. We do so many marketing pages, like webinar registration page, to an opt-in page, to a thank you page, to sales pages and video series pages, that I don't want to use my website for that. I want to use a piece of software that specializes in making those pages. We'll go over some resources in a moment, but you're going to want to take a screenshot of this page, take a picture on your phone, because at the end of the day, this is really all you need. Okay, these are the big ones. I always wonder if I forgot something, but I don't think I did. I don't think I did. There's ancillary ones, but those are the primary ones, right? Now, here's the best part. We're going to go over all the software I recommend, but I do absolutely love Kajabi. I like to brag and say I'm the #1 fan of Kajabi. So we run a lot of our stuff on Kajabi. And if you're in my circle, you're going to know I just talk about Kajabi all the time. And here's why I talk about Kajabi all the time. Because I've done a lot of the other stuff out there for years, and it was so frustrating, so painful. Like WordPress with a plugin and a theme and this, and then it breaks at 2 a.m. and customers are freaking out. Kajabi hosts everything. But here's the best part about Kajabi. And I'm good friends with the owners of Kajabi, the founders. Kajabi has made an effort to be the all-inclusive, all-in-one platform. So you can do sales pages, landing pages, checkout pages. You can host your content. You can do email broadcasting, affiliate marketing in there. I mean, like, it's unbelievable what they've done. So we've made a bigger effort to move more and more of our stuff to Kajabi. In fact, we'll go take a look at my new website today, but we built my brand, my website, jameswedmore.com, on Kajabi. We didn't someone at my level spends 10 to 20 grand to get some custom designed, special, fancy schmancy website. We built it all in Kajabi, and we built it in 4.5 days, start to finish. Now, part of that is a testament to my team, but it's also a testament to the ease of use that Kajabi offers with their platform. I am an affiliate, and I was thinking like maybe I'll post like a little bonus video or something. But if you guys are thinking about Kajabi, I'd love to offer a bonus of some sort if you guys do to sign up. But I don't want to talk about it here. But I am a huge fan. Now I'm going to show you other recommendations as well. Okay. Because here's the deal. A lot of people go, oh, $100 and something a month is really expensive. And I said, no, it's not. Because if it becomes everything that you use, you're actually saving money. You're saving a lot of money because there's 5 things that you need. And let's say each one of those costs $50 a month. Well, now you're spending $250 a month when you can just spend 100 or 110 or whatever it is. Okay. So you might want to think about it that way. But here's the deal. Let's say you want to build just a website. Squarespace and WordPress are your 2 options if you don't use Kajabi. Email marketing software, we actually use Infusionsoft for this. So this is like the only thing I really don't use Kajabi for today. There's a ton of these. I don't spend a lot of time researching other CRM systems, but I've heard good things from ConvertKit and ActiveCampaign as well. Entreport is another one. I've heard people be happy with MailChimp, but we've been on Infusionsoft since 2013. It changed my business, but I can't recommend Infusionsoft because it is an advanced tool. So you don't want to get on Infusionsoft until probably after you've made 6 figures. Okay, so just kind of put a mental note. You want to get to 6 figures in revenue before you jump on Infusionsoft. Okay. All right, shopping cart. Again, Kajabi does a shopping cart. They have checkout pages. It connects with Stripe and PayPal. But we use Samcart otherwise, and I like Samcart for a ton of reasons. And you can get started with Samcart for $20 a month. So that's actually pretty cool. Now, we originally just used Kajabi as our paid members area, like to protect our members' content. So if you bought something from me, how do you give a customer a username and password? So here's a great example. This is so funny. So my brother-in-law is actually studying to take an advanced architectural exam today. And so he needed a place to study. So he studied at my office over the weekend, and he's paid several $100s to buy and invest in learning training materials for how to pass this test. And he showed me one of the members areas. He said, I got a question for you, James. He goes, how hard would it be to build a website like this where you could have training videos and a curriculum and a username and password? And I laughed because I could just tell he thought it was like a really hard thing. And I was like, if you gave me the content, I could have this thing finished in less than 2 days. Done, depending on how much content's there. And that's what something like Kajabi offers. They host everything. It's super customizable. It's beautiful. So you could use it just for that. Now, landing page builders. There's a lot of great options that we have. Lead pages and ClickFunnels are 2 of the most popular ones. But one that we absolutely love that like not that many people talk about or hear about is called Instapage. Instapage is basically less of a template builder and more of a custom page builder. So we actually build our sales pages in Instapage. Okay. So here's the thing. I throw out all these tools out here and you get a choice. You can say, do I need to buy all of these? I can't afford these. So many options. And if that's the case, if you're feeling like that, trust me, just get Kajabi. And we'll do something. I'll post the video today or this week at the latest, talking about a bonus if you guys decide to join through my affiliate link, like this week only, okay? But Kajabi is going to be the easiest thing for you. I promise you that. We are using Kajabi, okay? Multiple 7-figure business, and we're running 90% of what we do on Kajabi. And just the email part is the only part we're not. Well, that's not true. The email and the shopping cart, but we're moving towards the shopping cart on that. Okay. That's a decision that we have to make. Okay, so any question on that, you let me know. I do want to move on. We're moving on. Okay. So we're going to start mapping out the flow of your website a bit. Okay, and from a marketing standpoint. So this is something I love to do. I call this whiteboarding because it is. It is just drawing out, mapping out the process of which customers find you and all that good stuff. Okay. So this big square right here is your website. And your homework is going to be to wireframe your website, which you can do in like 5 minutes. You don't need to overthink it, okay? I'll show you how to do that. But basically, these are the, you can always change these, but these are the simple basic pages to have on your website. You have your home page, which I'll take you through my website. You can see a little bit of that. You have an about page. You have a place where your blog is, right? Where all the content that you're sharing is accessible in one location. You have a free training page, okay? And you have a contact page. Now, notice this. I did not say products page, okay? Now, I get a lot of people that disagree with me on this or think I'm crazy, but in 10 years, I have never had a product for sale on my website. Let me say that again. In 10 years, I have never had a product for sale that you could buy on my website. And I still technically don't. You can look and find, if you looked hard enough, but these are the links on my page. And the reason is simple. There's kind of two reasons, a hybrid of two reasons. Number one is that I told you on the previous slide that the intention of the website is list building. So I'm more concerned with building an audience on my website. And my list building efforts will put them into a funnel or a sales sequence to make the sale. But the other reason, kind of like an overlap, is that I want to build trust and relationship first. And if all I'm doing is selling stuff on my website, that affects their first impression of me, doesn't it? Oh, he's just selling these things. Like people start to go, oh, I got this guy figured out, right? So people think I'm leaving money on the table, but I've made a lot of money. So maybe I am, but maybe you're leaving a lot of money on the table by putting your add to cart buttons all over your website, okay? Something to think about. Seems scary, like, oh my gosh. But what we're going to get into in this training is the psychology of buying. The psychology of buying of a digital product is very different. My iPhone case started breaking this morning. So I got up, I went to Amazon, and I just bought a replacement case. Same one. Now, that type of psychology is like, I made a decision, I need a new one, and I just bought it, okay? That's not what happens with your digital courses. And you're going to continue to learn this more and more, because one of the biggest mistakes people make that you won't make is they assume that people buy courses the same way they buy iPhone cases. I need a course. Where's one I could just go buy really quickly? It doesn't happen that way 95% of the time, okay? Trust me on that. So those are the pages I create. I'll take you through my website in a bit. But the goal is list building. So we want to send them to a place to opt in, whether it's a lead box, an opt-in page, an opt-in form on your website. We can go over the specifics of that if you want. The goal is to get them to opt in. And here's another big mistake people are making. I can't stress this enough. And we're going to fix this mistake today, once and for all. Some people here are like, James, I've heard all this before. It's like, good. But here's where we're going to diverge off the path of what most people talk about. What most people talk about is they say, you got to start building your list. And so they say you need some sort of free opt-in. And so then what you do is you spend the next month of your life creating this perfect, amazing, extraordinary free PDF. This thing that, man, people would be willing to pay for this. And then you put it on an opt-in page and you put it on a link from your website. Fast forward 6 months and you've got 180 people on your email list. We made two vital mistakes here. The first one is it shouldn't take you a month to do this, okay? So we got to find a way to get the content made faster. I could create something in 60 minutes or less, right? And that's how we need to think. But number two, you don't send people from an opt-in page to a download page and end there. what you actually need to be doing, and we're going to be doing this together, guys, for those who actually want to commit and take action, you need to send them to a way to get paid. Okay? That's the difference. We need to send them to something that's going to get you paid. If the opt-in isn't a part of a sales funnel, or there isn't an offer made after they opt in, you're wasting everybody's time, yours and the prospects. So how many of you have created some sort of opt-in, like, oh, I got a free PDF on my website, and maybe if you're really good, you created that, and then you created a few autoresponder emails, but that's it. You just stopped there, right? That's it. And then you spend all this time and you only get a few hundred people opted in, but they're not even buying anything. So we need to fix that. We have an entire week's of training on how to do that. So we're not going to do that today, but we are going to get started on the process of choosing what you get people to opt in for. Does that make sense? Okay. 2 big mistakes. Number 1, they're creating a free opt-in that takes them way too long to make. And number 2, they're not putting any type of sales funnel or offer on the back end once people opt in. So you never get paid. Now, what's happening when you opt in is you do want to, put people into your CRM, and you want to have a follow-up sequence of emails. Okay. Part of what we're going to do, part of the plan I'm handing you is that chances are, I can imagine you don't have a course yet. For most of you, if you're really just getting started, you don't have anything to sell yet. But that shouldn't stop you from creating a waitlist page. This is one of the awesome things that I do myself, one of the things that I teach, and it works, and people don't believe me. I've had customers go, how can I create a waitlist page for something that isn't created yet, that I'm not even giving them anything as an opt-in? Again, our common sense will deceive us with a lot of the decisions we have to make here over the next 7 weeks. You can make a waitlist page. So we're going to go over that. I don't know. Yeah, maybe I'll show you one today. I might show you one today if I remember. Otherwise, we'll get into more specifics of that. So it's as simple as this. Someone stumbles upon your website. Maybe they're learning more on your about page. They're reading a few articles, and they eventually decide to opt in because you have something really cool on there. In about 2 weeks, I'm going to show you how after they can opt in, you can deliver some really cool stuff to them and make an offer. So you can actually be getting paid while you're building your course. Okay, that's a huge mistake people are making. If you want this to fail, and failure really only means you give up and move on, then what you would do is not look for any progress in your journey. See, if we have progress, we're going to keep going. We're going to stay inspired. Progress refuels our passion. And the way you get progress is through profit. So if we can find a way to get profitable now, you're going to get really excited to keep going. But spending 6 months to a year of working without seeing any results is going to unmotivate anybody. Even Tony Robbins, a motivation king, would be pretty unmotivated at that point. Okay? So you need to find ways to get proof of progress, and that is in profit. And we're going to do that. I think that's week 4. So they opt in for something. They're going to be presented an offer. They're going to be given follow-up emails that are automated emails, and they're going to be taken to a waitlist page to opt in to be the first one notified for when your course becomes available. Let me show you how easy this is really quickly. We have an opt-in. We have a waitlist page right now for one of our courses, Business by Design. This is a really fancy early bird page, but it can be as simple as just like a little opt-in box. So we kind of just talk about the product, and then it says, click the yellow link below to get on the early bird waitlist. Click here to get on the waitlist. Okay, and people are opting in for this every day. It does not need to be this fancy. My team likes to be fancy, so they made a really nice page. But it could just be like, be the first one notified when this program goes live. Okay. Now we'll talk more about that. Your homework isn't this week to build the waitlist page, but you can start thinking about it. Don't worry. Start thinking about it. Okay. All right, so it's a very simple map. Your website's going to take people to a place to opt in, where you'll have a back-end offer, and then you're going to use emails to get people to your waitlist page. You can overcomplicate things. You can make it more complicated, but that's the simple way. Now remember, your goal with your website is list building. So I'm just going to show you my website for a little bit. This is the area above the fold. Again, this was built in Kajabi. You'll see there's a big yellow button down at the bottom for a 17 marketing tweaks that get big results PDF. That's been doing really well for us. Yeah, that we have an opt-in above the fold. We have one down at the bottom. In fact, I'm just going to bring up my website just for a moment to show you guys a little bit about it. So I have blog, about, free training. I do have a work with me page, which actually takes people to the wait list for a lot of my training. Let's see what's on this page. 5 ways to work with me, take an online course, join my next live training. You know, we went kind of overboard with everything. My best advice is get the most simplest website possible. Okay, so if you scroll down the bottom, you'll see there's an opt-in down here at the bottom. If you go to free training, the first thing I did is I say, which one of the best describes you? Like, I'm just getting started, or let's go, I'm ready to grow. Okay, I actually have 2 free trainings for them that they can opt in for. Okay, and go here and see what happens. Yep, and then they opt in. All right. Okay, so we have several ways, and there's a massive amount of list building happening on my website right now. It's really, really awesome. Okay, brand new website. Let me animate this stuff for you. So guess what? I told you it was really simple because I don't want to do a lot of teaching. I want to do a lot of here's what to do, here's what to do. So here is your homework. Then we're going to open up for questions. We kept it nice and short and sweet. So I gave you the 5 tools to get. So one of your homework items is going to be to invest in those tools. We need to identify your free opt-in, and we need to do it the right way. Most people are doing this backwards. So here's how you do it, okay? What might your very niche down product be? Okay, at this point, I'm just asking you to identify your niche. We're going to do a whole training on how to find what product or course you're going to be selling. So don't worry about that. But what are you thinking it will be? Now, this is very important because a lot of times when people are coming up with this freebie for their website, they're not thinking through it properly. They just come up with something. What you have to do is you have to start with the product that you're selling and work backwards. The opt-in that you deliver has to create demand for the product. I'm going to say that again. The opt-in that you deliver for free has to create demand for the thing that you're selling. So what might your niche down product be? Okay, let's say you're doing video marketing for real estate agents, because I've done that before. Okay. Well, what is a simple, specific, and results-oriented piece of content that you could give away for free that others would be willing to pay for? What is a simple, specific, and results-oriented piece of content you could give away for free that others would be willing to pay for? These are the 2 questions you're going to want to write down. So I could say a video buyer's guide. Okay. These are the 2 questions you're going to want to write down. So take a screenshot of this or take a picture on your phone, because this is your homework. I'm not saying your homework is to create this thing right now. If you feel inspired to create it, do it. But your goal is to get clarity on what it is. And you're going to want to post what it is in the Facebook group. Okay. Then you're going to map out and wireframe your website. This is really simple. Do it handwritten or do it on a whiteboard. Okay. You just, the first thing you want to do is you want to do some research on websites that you love. Same niche and different niche. Okay. Same market, different market. And you want to just look at all the things that they're doing. What pages do they have? What kind of copy do they use? Okay, and then basically you're going to identify which pages you want, and you have to have an intention for every page. What's the intention of this page? What's the goal with this page? And then you just kind of write out the things that you want to include. Okay. Now again, you can have your entire website built on Kajabi in a week. But I don't want you to necessarily start building your website now. And here's why. This is really important. If you don't have a website yet, this is an area where people get stuck so bad. So bad. Okay? They spend months in this like website writer's block. And so much emotional stuff comes up. So I'm not asking you to do it yet. I'm asking you to start the wireframe. Because the fact of the matter is, for $500, you can hire a copywriter, and I can give you resources and links on copywriters, and they can write and build your website for you or design it. Okay? But when we're making that website, we get so consumed with it having to be perfect that we never get it done. So I'm just looking for you to take easy wins right now. I want to see you map it out. And I want you to take a picture of you drawing it out and post it in the comments of this replay. Okay, and then the other action item is to get the tools that you need. Okay? I want to see if you can create a commitment to at least get the website and the email marketing tools this week. And some of you are going to say, okay, I'm going to do it, James, and you're going to do it Sunday night. You just wasted 7 days. 6 days. Do it today. Practice the habit of getting into action. If you are looking to sell digital courses and products, I promise I will not steer you wrong. So be coachable, have a little trust in me. That's why you guys are here. But then have a whole hell of a lot of trust in yourself that this will work out. Because I told you at the beginning of the call that your failure is inevitable. Failure is inevitable. You can't avoid it. But you know what else I believe is inevitable is your success. In fact, that's an affirmation we say around the Business by Design community. Your success is inevitable. The only thing standing in your way, 2 things. Time. It's only a matter of time. And number 2, is you. Are you going to get out of your own darn way? Because, as we also like to say, what got you here won't get you there. Who you were being up until this moment, your actions, your habits, your thoughts, your behaviors, and your decisions got you here. Everything you have, everything you are, it's because of who you were being got you to this moment. And we may need to shift that to get to where you want to go. We have to start looking at business differently, looking at marketing differently, looking at ourselves differently, thinking differently. And that's ultimately what I'm here to get you to do. Yes, I want to kick your butt into action and get you to really have real experiences every day and every week of just whittling away, taking action. But the bigger gift that I want to give you is really how to think, act, and behave like the successful entrepreneur that you are striving to be from now, from the get-go. Okay? And that can be hard because a lot of times it opposes everything we think and believe already. Right? Like how I say hard work and hustle is total BS. Hard work's for ditch diggers. If you want to do hard work to be successful, go dig a ditch and see where that gets you. Okay? All right. So this is your agenda. We're making progress. But part of the progress, the biggest piece of progress is going to come down with your action. This is a free course. I don't have to be doing this, but I want to. Okay? So you should be semi-clear on a niche. It's okay. Look, no one's going to give you permission to do this thing. I mean, I give you permission. Your family will most likely give you permission, but the marketplace isn't. Okay? So you'll have to be the one giving yourself permission. Then, of course, we got to get clear on our web properties. What website, what software, what tools, right? You got to have that stuff under your belt. So I had to cover that. I know a lot of you guys already do, and a lot of you already know that, so fantastic. It was a nice and easy one. Starting next week, we're building your content plan. Okay. Creating some content, putting it out into the marketplace to start to build your list, to build an audience, and build a relationship with that list. Okay. We're moving along. Then in week 4, I'm going to show you how to get paid now, even if you don't have anything to sell. It's going to be awesome. The point is we're making progress, and we're making progress in the right direction. So if you have questions for me, now is the time to put them in. I can put up any slide that you want. You guys just let me know. I'm going to see if I can do questions on here. I'm going to stop the screen share for now and just bring me up. Let me see. I do have questions, but you guys, give me just a second. I want to see if I can get all the comments to pop up here. And again, thank you guys for those who are here live. I really appreciate that. Yeah, I don't know why it doesn't let me see all the comments right now. So I might not be able to check the latest ones, which is kind of a bummer. Okay, so Tim says, James, how long did it take you to get out of that phase of your life? Which phase? I don't, shoot, I'm so sorry. What phase? Sometimes I'm tuning in and out. But if you're referring to like, what phase? Can you clarify on that? I'd love to answer that. Alina says, you're absolutely awesome. Great info. Thank you. Thank you. Wellmode says, I just called someone to help me with my taxes. I've done them for myself for ages, but I get client requests all the time now, and I'd rather work with my clients and do my taxes. Love it. Way to outsource. JJ Miles says, opt-in idea, 7 steps to weight loss success. Yeah, I would get more specific with the result. I think weight loss success is very broad. So if you'll notice what I said in terms of your opt-in, it should be really specific. Like 3 foods you can eat right now to jumpstart your weight loss would be better. I don't know. And I'm not in the fitness weight loss space at all. Michelle says, I just don't think my people pay for my niche. I think their company does. So I'm at a crossroads as to how to develop and market a product. Any advice? Yeah. Put something out there and see if they'll pay. Prove yourself wrong, Michelle. See, that's the difference. What a scientist does is they create a hypothesis. Michelle has a hypothesis. I don't think people will pay for this. Great. We'll test it. Prove yourself wrong. Prove your idea wrong. It doesn't make you wrong. It doesn't make you a failure. It means you're testing something. And in 2 weeks, I'm going to show you how you can absolutely do that. Okay. Caroline says, why do you use Samcart instead of Kajabi for your shopping cart? It has way better reporting, data, and analytics, and a few other really cool features that I like. So that's the big reason. Let's see if I got more. Yeah, Kelly says, I've been working on my free training now for an entire month, and it's definitely not simple. It's robust as hell. I need to go back. Yeah, try and do something like a 1-page cheat sheet. Something really simple. Okay. Estefania says, I already have a site and my tools. What I need help with is the opt-in. I want to create classes to teach others how to use the low-cost equipment. Will they hire me once they start doing their own videos? It's the logic that I'm not sure of. This is where I need help with. I also wonder about the market is saturated on teaching about video, but that's what I do. Any suggestions? Yeah, I'm not really understanding the question. I want to create classes to teach others how to use the low-cost equipment. Will they hire me once they start doing their own videos? If you want them to, they will. If you make an offer to hire you, they will. Is that what you want? So, look, you guys can. Here's what's funny. Maybe it's just me, but you guys can do a lot more than you think you can. I see a lot of people like asking for permission, and Stefani, I don't want to rub your nose in this too much, but This is a great example. The energy behind this is a great example of someone who, like, we want to try and figure it all out first before we do anything, right? If you need help with an opt-in, just create the buyer's guide. Here's the 7 things you can get for under $200 to be up and running with video. Okay, and then you have the question about is it too saturated? I talked about that last week. Okay, here's the way you look at this. First of all, if it was undersaturated, like if you have no competitors, you've got a bigger problem. But is the fact that there's people in the market already going to prevent you from helping others? Isn't that what this is about? There's too much ego involved. Everyone's got to be the best, or they got to be the guy or the gal. Stop it. Just focus on putting value out there, and the right people will find you. It's not about being the number one. It's too ego-driven. It's too outside your control too, by the way. Okay. Let's see. Do I have more comments? Let's see. I'm going to refresh this. I want to hang out with you guys for a bit more, if that's cool. Did you guys find this valuable, helpful? Did it give you some clarity? Even for those who are like, dude, come on, I know all this stuff. I'm curious. Okay. Is Kajabi's CRM and page builder usable? Yeah, Jason, what do you mean by usable? Like it's usable. Do you want to get more specific? Let me know. What percentage of the market should we look at capturing? I don't look at that number at all. I don't look at market share in what we do. Just like a musician probably doesn't look at market share. There's a lot of times, believe it or not, that people, like, different way to look at this is like being a band or a musician, right? Do you buy music like from your favorite artist, and because you listen to this artist, you don't listen to any others, right? If anything, like if you found out that this artist and that artist were doing a concert together, you'd buy both their music, right? So believe it or not, like that's a much better way to look at it. It's when I have an iPhone, I'm choosing not to have a Samsung. So there's very clear market share going on, right? Like most people, the average person doesn't have a Samsung and an iPhone. The average person, some people do. That's not necessarily the case with an online course. People that, when it's a big enough market, people want to get their hands on everything. I've taken several courses on the same topic before. Okay. So think about that. There's massive overlap. So Kelly says, so then would you say that a masterclass or free training is more appropriate for a launch? And then the opt-in on your site should be more something like a PDF cheat sheet that you mentioned. Here's the number one thing I'm going to say. It doesn't matter. But what you said sounds fantastic. It doesn't matter. It really doesn't matter. The words and it doesn't have to be a cheat sheet. No, it doesn't. That's a great example to use. It could be a cheat sheet. It could be a MP3 download. It could be a quick video. We've created stuff that's not even either of those. We have one that's called a launch calculator. It's a piece of software that predicts your performance metrics for your next launch. Okay, but it's really quick and usable. All right, let me do a few more questions if that's cool with you guys. I think I have to like reload this every time. I don't know. I'm sorry, guys. I don't know the best way to review comments here. Katana says, I launched my membership and I haven't gotten any signups yet because of my own limiting beliefs. But I love what you said to prove ourselves wrong. I haven't really put myself out there yet. Totally doing so today, though. Good. Katana, that's fantastic. But I also want to, we're going to check in. I want you to stick with us for these 8 weeks, because one of the things that might be happening, and I don't know, is that we got to look at the sales system. So you don't just put your membership site out there. I don't know if this is what you're doing. I can only assume so much from your comment. You don't put your membership site out there and say, my membership is live. Give me $20 a month, please. So that's like the quickest way to fail. Now, some people can do that. But when we develop a sales system, right, a promotional strategy or a launch strategy around the offer, we're going to be way more successful. We're going to start to get into that, but that's towards the end of this. Okay, so stick with us. JC says, starting out, do we have to use Samcart? No, I would start with Kajabi for the checkout page. You can always upgrade later. Yeah. Michelle says, very valuable, inspiring, a good way to start out the week. Thank you so much. Love your Thank you, Michelle. Appreciate that. Okay. What's the best way to target your audience? Okay. Yes, this is amazing. Thank you, Stephen. Katana's going to catch the replay. Melissa says, post and lead magnet combo, article on driven dressage mistakes and lead magnet of 7 strategies to improve driven dressage scores. Yes, love it. We're going to talk about that next week, how your content can match your opt-in. Very good. Love it. Let's see what else we got. Brenda says, yes, very helpful for a newbie. Can't wait to dive in. Can't wait for your next mastermind. When will it be? Asked Cody. Excuse me. If you're talking about our Inner Circle Mastermind, I open up applications for that in the fall. It'll be like October, November, if that's what you're referring to. Vanessa says, are PDFs the best opt-in? No. I'm going to always try and catch people when they create these absolutes. Okay. Look, if I teach meditation, think about this for a moment. If I'm a meditation teacher and I want to create a meditation course, is a PDF the best opt-in for my audience? No. What is? Probably an MP3 that I could download and listen to on my iPhone, right? Or maybe a video. I don't know. But a PDF, it always depends on your niche. Always. What is the best way to communicate what you need to communicate as quickly and easily as possible? If I'm a fitness instructor showing people new exercise routines, a PDF is not going to be the best way to do it. A video would be much better. Okay? All right. You guys are awesome. I'm going to look one more time for comments. Then we're going to wrap it up here. I know we went kind of long. We did an hour of training together. There's a ton of comments here. Melissa, thank you. Awesome. Good to see you guys. All right. Lori says, as someone who's played this game far too long, this is a great kick in the pants. Look, nothing's going to happen, guys, if you don't do the work. And the work is hard because we unfortunately make it hard. We make it big and scary, and we get all this meaning behind it. What if it doesn't work? What if I fail? What if it does work? What will people say? What will people think? What if I waste time? I think that's the funniest one. People are afraid to go down this path or this path because they're afraid that it's not the right path and that they'll waste time. If they don't realize how much time they're wasting by not doing anything. Don't let that be you. A lot of people, when they get to know me, they realize that the biggest secret that I have to my success is I just keep doing the work. I'm not nearly afraid of failing today as I used to be, because I know that it's impossible to fail, that the only way I could truly fail is if I packed it up for good and gave up. That's the only way that I can actually fail. And that's the only way you can fail. Just because you did something and it doesn't work doesn't mean you failed. Okay? So I want to acknowledge you guys for being here for an hour, first thing Monday morning. That's huge. Give yourself credit for that. Okay? This is a process. It takes time. You're not looking to get it all done. Okay? So many people I know today, the people that you look up to, the people you follow, the people with a huge audience, They've been at it for 5, 6, 7, 10 years. It takes time. Let's shortcut that time. Let's shorten the timeline, but it's still going to take time. Now that you know that, you can jump into the work with patience, with peace of mind, with an eagerness, with reignited passion, because that's what it's going to take. That's what it's going to take. All right. Appreciate you guys so much for being here. Go check out week 1 if you haven't. I've linked it up in this group. It's pinned. I'll leave the replay up all week. Go over the homework. Do the homework. Wireframe your website. Buy the software you need this week. Show the universe that you are committed through your action. And identify your opt-in. And the more you post in that group for accountability here, the better you're going to be. Okay? Thank you guys so much. Have a fantastic week. Your week starts now. This is it. Don't waste your time by being here and not doing anything with this. Get to work. All right. I'll be in throughout the week to check in on you guys. Take care.
Warning. The following business training series is not for everyone.
I grew my email list to 5,400 in less than 5 months.
I built up my subscriber list by another 5,000 subscribers.
Why are some entrepreneurs able to rapidly grow without hustling 12 hours a day, while most work even longer, do the same things, and continue to see little to no results?
It came out of nowhere to me. It was like, yeah, I had this goal for like 60,000 and we ended up blowing that out of the water and hit 80K. And it was really it was just like all the things came into alignment.
I was able to bring in this year over $330,000 from a brand new business.
Why do some go on to create massive audiences that hang on their every word, while most can't even get people to pay attention?
Our last launch, we did 453 new members, and we're doing about $30,000 a month in recurring monthly revenue.
You're about to discover the real reason why.
As you're about to see, this series is going to turn everything you think you know about business growth completely on its head. So, if you already think you know it all and you're unopen to new ideas, this training is not for you. And if you're the type of entrepreneur that hops from training to training but doesn't ever take action, well, you're in the wrong place. So, if you're actually serious about growing your business, you have to make a choice right now. You can either keep doing what you've been doing, working way too hard with way too little to show for it, or you can watch this entire series right now and finally discover the invisible mechanisms that 7-figure entrepreneurs are tapping into. So, if you're the type of person that's willing to look at themselves and their businesses objectively, and if you're finally ready to step into the CEO role that your business needs, let's continue. Hi, I'm James Wedmore, founder of the Rapid Growth System for Successful Digital CEOs, Business by Design, and host of the Mind Your Business podcast. And I'm known as the go-to guy who turns course creators like you into 7-figure digital CEOs by giving them the right systems and processes that lead to scalability in their businesses and freedom in their lives. So, if you have a message, expertise, or knowledge that you just know will help others, or perhaps you're a coach, author, or speaker that's ready to have a thriving online business around your sold-out courses and programs, well, you're about to get the tools and strategies that will do exactly that. By the time you finish this entire series, well, you'll have the completed blueprint for a business that creates massive impact in the marketplace and gives you the time to do more of what you love. And I don't need to tell you that there already are successful entrepreneurs that are absolutely crushing it with their sold-out courses and coaching programs.
And they're doing this in every niche imaginable. Entrepreneurs like Jasmine Starr, award-winning photographer who packaged her expertise and turned it into a $238,000 launch with a $197 course. And Jacqueline Kinser, a lactation consultant who launched her online course for the first time with no list and sold it out in 1 week, grossing $7,500. And Jason Brown, a stock market coach who built a $500,000 a year business while still working his full-time corporate job. And niches like pet photography, art lessons, fashion, health, fitness, parenting, spirituality, and more. Yet despite how much content already exists online claiming to teach you how you too can do this, and chances are you're no stranger to this content, the vast majority of entrepreneurs continue to struggle, get it wrong, and never figure it out. So if all the same content is available to everyone, then why does all this success seem to be reserved for the few? So, is it really the right funnel or the latest strategy that's going to automatically fix your business? As if all the gurus out there have locked the real secret away in a vault? I mean, you've clearly seen others use the exact same strategies. Strategies like a webinar or a challenge, and they've been wildly successful. So look, continuing to blame the strategy and then wasting your time hopping from one to the next, well, that's like blaming Google Maps when your car breaks down. And I don't need to tell you, there are multiple routes to the same destination. And if the map has worked for others, we both know it's not the map. So what is it? Well, the next logical conclusion would be to assume that you have a reach problem. If you're like most, you might be thinking, James, if I could just get in front of more people, then that would solve all my business problems. As if more followers automatically means more sales. Well, if I gave you a bucket, what good would it be to fill it with more water if you don't fix the giant hole in the bottom? Today, there are countless influencers and personal brands with millions of followers that chose to focus on vanity numbers instead of revenue. And as a result, they're flat broke. While digital CEOs everywhere are quietly crushing it with a fraction of that audience size. And you may be thinking, it's easy for these people, but you don't have the time or the money. Well, if you're constantly focusing on the wrong things, you'll never have the time or the money to focus on the right things, the things that actually grow your business. And no matter how little time or money you think you have right now, the fact is, there is someone out there with less time, less money, less resources, heck, even less support, and they made their dreams possible. Take Fernanda Lind Echeniche, a mom of 3 with a full-time corporate job and no prior business experience. She went from 0 to 6 figures in her first 12 months. The truth is, most struggling entrepreneurs are simply looking for the answers to their business woes in all the wrong places. And if you haven't hit the level of success you want in your business, well, you may be making some of the mistakes that they are. Heck, I know I was. This is exactly how I used to approach my business. And that's exactly why I struggled for 4 straight years, living off caffeine and Subway sandwiches in my parents' basement. Broke as a joke. I stayed stuck for 4 years because I was not willing to be the person who took the actions I needed to take in order to have the results that I wanted. Because when I finally made that shift, a shift that you too can make in an instant, everything changed. I grew $1 million a year online business, selling $97 courses, teaching my passion, online video. And despite how competitive and oversaturated everyone told me the marketplace already was, that I was virtually unknown, didn't have a best-selling book, 20 years experience, and one of those fancy schmancy certifications, I still made my business dreams a reality. And that gave me the life I'd always dreamed of. But that was 4 years ago. Today, I just do for others what I was able to do for myself. And by the end of this binge-worthy series, you're gonna learn just that. I'll introduce you to the exact systems and processes I followed to build 3 multi-million-dollar businesses and the 5 core ingredients that I bake into every business that allows it to scale without requiring you, the founder, to hustle day in and day out. You want to know why 7-figure digital CEOs become 7-figure digital CEOs? It's because they make the decisions take the actions and do the things that seven-figure entrepreneurs do, even way before they're making seven figures. And the people that don't grow their business are still taking actions and making decisions that failing entrepreneurs make. It's as simple as that. I mean, how are you ever expected to become successful when you don't take the actions that successful people take? And I get it. You may be sitting there going, James, I'm still trying to make my first sale online. Or, I just hit six figures last year. Well, do you think you'll hit your goals faster when you align with the actions of a six-figure entrepreneur or a seven-figure entrepreneur?
Hey, what can I get for you?
Let's get a tall Americano.
Sweet, coming right up.
Think about this. How much would your life change right now if every thought, action, and decision shifted to match those of the successful people you currently look up to?
Gotta be $3.95.
There you go.
Thank you.
Probably a ton, am I right? In other words, you can continue to struggle and hustle your way toward the attainment of your goals, or you can choose the easier way. You can focus on becoming the person for whom accomplishing your goals is inevitable. In fact, in the very next episode, you'll get to identify which of the 5 roles you've been filling in your business, which is absolutely vital because it's the role you fill that ultimately determines the results you receive. I mean, how are you ever expected to grow your business if you spend the majority of your day with your head down, hustling away at those $10 an hour tasks? Sorry, but creating graphics, designing PDFs, and learning WordPress is never gonna grow your business. And if you're spending all day below deck, well then who's driving the ship? Who's focusing on the revenue generating activities? So if you haven't been happy with the results you've been getting, chances are you've been avoiding the role that your business needs you to fill. So the real question is, how much longer will you avoid it? And where do you think your business will be this time next year if you don't do something about it right now? If you're noticing that little voice in your head say things like,
I'm just not ready for this training yet.
Well, let me ask you, is that how the successful entrepreneur thinks? Or are those the old, outdated beliefs that a struggling entrepreneur has? It's not a matter of how experienced or knowledgeable you are right now. It's simply a matter of how committed you're willing to be. Because you may not know this yet, but you might be missing just one thing. You might be just this close and not even realize it. You don't have to experience those years of struggle that so many others, like myself, live through just to be successful. Shifts can happen in an instant if you're open to it. So listen to every single episode extremely closely. All it takes is one idea to radically change everything. And although this series won't be up for long, I encourage you to binge watch the whole season in one sitting and then re-listen again for all the information you didn't catch. Because that extra effort to learn something new, well, that's what millionaires do. We live in the greatest time in the history of the world. We have more opportunity for freedom and impact than ever before. And entrepreneurship has never been more possible than it is today. There has literally never been an easier time to start than this second right now. And if you don't start now, when will you?
One Americano.
Hold on, I need my line again. Okay, give me an action.
Okay, and action.
Wait, let's wait for this way. Then that would solve all my business problems. Last line!
Okay, so you're going to look up from your phone, and that's it. Now show it to me. And then I'm going to cut there. Hold it down, yeah, that's it. Now go. That's it. And now push it to me.
Shirley, do you think it matters that when have the book in my hand, I'm on a different page each time?
No.
I think we should redo it, and I'm on the same. I'm just not ready for this training yet. Does that work? Okay. I just hit. I just hit 6 figures last. I just hit 6 figures last year. I f***ed that up again. I said or. So, let's continue. That's the one, Ryan. Future Ryan, I want you to know I love you. I love you.
So what we're going to do right now is we're going to reverse engineer this just a little bit. When I do this, I do it with post-it notes. But for now, what we're going to do is we're going to just do it on a sheet of paper. And if you have multiple sheets of paper, like literally, I just did this with a client 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago. Brand new client in his black belt game plan. We literally did this process step by step by step. And small room, I'll get the exact numbers. I'm just loading up my phone right now, but small room, and he added $9,000 a month in his third or fourth day in black belt just off this. So, okay, don't worry about the name. I just need to know what it's about, okay? So what we're going to do right now, guys, is we're going to get your sheet of paper, and I want you to divide it up into 8. That means a line across, and then we're going to divide it into 4 columns. I'm going to label these right now, and as I label them, what I'd like you to do is to just, for now, just write down the labels. I'll explain what they mean, okay? And then we'll fill them in a sec. So the first thing is, what are the topic areas that you teach, not in the workshop, not in the sales event, but in the thing that they're going to buy, okay? So if I'm running a workshop that invites people to join black belt, what are the topics of black belt? Next, what are the objections? What are all the reasons why somebody would not buy the offer at the end? You know, it costs too much. I don't have time. I'm not very techie. Whatever the objections are. Next up, we've got wins. So client, case study, wins. If you've been doing this for a little while, there's probably a good chance that you've got some client wins to share. Here we go. Let me just find the... So this is from 3 weeks ago. This is Craig about 5 days after we started, 4 days after we started. Okay, but here's the sit rep on the Melbourne gig. I was sloppy in the setup and process and execution. I'll get better with time. Very big growth area, but that's what makes me feel like these numbers are even better. We had 36 people booked in, 35 attended. I got 15, so 15 out of 35. What's that percentage-wise? 15 out of 35 into the $597 a month program. That's a 41% conversion rate. Oh, there you go. It's right there. 41% conversion rate and about $9,000 in monthly revenue. I've got 15 more of these workshops booked in over the next 10 months. And I've just gone, there you go, paid for black belt in your first weekend. Well done on following the choreographed close, right? So 41% by doing this. So we've got topics, objections, wins. Next up. Super important. What are the logistics of your program? And when I say logistics, what I mean is what are the deliverables in your program? So inside black belt, let's do black belt. Inside black belt, we would do the weekly SHRP, the Q&A webinar, the black belt intensives, the Facebook group, the coaches, etc., etc. Just list out all of the pieces, the game plan, the ninjas, etc. What are all of the pieces of your program? So you'll get to those in a moment. Next up, we've got what are the exercises? In other words, while you're teaching topic A, how to get your business valued, Sam, what's an activity you could run about that? Yeah? What are the exercises? Next, sexy tools. What are the cool tools that you use with clients that help them win? Think worksheets or templates or processes you take people through that really make a tremendous difference. And if somebody on the outside saw that, they'd go, holy crap, I want that. Like, do you remember a couple of weeks ago when we were talking about webinars, I showed you the webinar slide deck that we build for clients, or the done for you website that we build for our black belt clients? They are sexy tools that help clients win. And if I show that to a non-black belt, typically the response I get is, oh, wow, I wish I had that. Perfect example of a sexy tool. Next up, people. Is there anyone else involved in delivering the program that we need to position? And then finally, are there any other seeds generally? And so these are usually around beliefs. So, investing in your own education, not delaying, that sort of stuff. Okay, so that's how we do it. And what I'm going to give you 2 minutes to start right now is to start listing out the topics of your program, the objections, and the names of clients who've had a big win so far. So I'm just going to give you 2 minutes. If you can just focus on this one here and this one here. And if you get to here, bonus. Going to give you 2 minutes right now. Ready, set, go. Jackie, what if this is a new program which has no previous success stories? Totally okay, Jackie. Either do, if it's something that you've never launched this program before, but you've worked with people about the same topic, you can use those stories. If you haven't got that yet, then find somebody else out there in the rest of the world who's implemented similar stuff and got those kind of outcomes. Obviously, you can't claim it's yours, but you can tell the story. Or you can take someone who hasn't implemented this stuff and it's dramatically hurt them. And you can do a negative story. Jackie, does that help? Of course, the fourth or fifth option is to tell your story if this stuff has really helped you. Jackie, no worries. You're doing well. About 30 seconds. We're just going to pause and check in a minute and stop right there. So you get the idea. We're going to make a list of each of these pieces. So what I'd like to do is give you a quick demo of how this could work. And I think the best way to do it is to help one of you just a little bit one-on-one. And so what I need in terms of someone kind of, in terms of the best person to kind of show and tell this is somebody who's already got a program. Ideally already got a group program up and running that you've had a client win with. Got that? Jonathan, perfect. I've just given the link out to anyone who's arrived late and missed the workshops. Okay, Jonathan, Jonathan, can you unmute your line?
Hi, Taki, can you hear us?
I can hear you a little bit. You sound a bit like a robot, a very quiet robot.
Can you hear us?
Yeah, I can't hear you that well. I don't know quite what's going on, but you sound like you're talking through one of those emphysema robot voice things.
Oh my.
It's kind of weird, isn't it?
I know.
If you want to, no, it's not working that great.
You can't hear me at all.
Exactly how to fix it because I don't know what your setup looks like at your end.
Can you hear me, Rocky? Taki? No?
Sounds okay to you. Does it really? Okay.
I hear you.
That's really weird. He's coming through very odd to me. Let me change up a couple things. You know what? Maybe, I hate to say this, but maybe I'm the problem. You know, I usually am in these sorts of things. Let me mess with a couple things. Zoom preferences. Give me 1 second. If everyone else thinks you sound great, then it is definitely at my end, not at your end. All right, Jonathan, now talk.
Okay, can you hear us?
Yeah, now I can hear you perfectly. It was me, not you. Funny about that. As I always say, it's never my fault. So, Jonathan, what I'd love to know, just super quickly, give us the name of the program or what it's about.
Sure, it's a test prep and college admission program.
Perfect. Test prep college admission. Love that. Okay, so what's just give us one of the topics that you would teach.
Sure. Okay. Helping your teenager design a hook statement.
Design a hook statement.
Mm-hmm.
Help teen design a hook statement. Now, just in 20 seconds, what's a hook statement? Just so I've got some context. It sounds like some kind of marketing angle. Why you should pick me? Is that what it is?
Exactly. In essence, a hook statement allows the student to differentiate him or herself from, a fiercely competitive college applicant pool. Basically, so as to get, admitted into some of the most selective colleges and get scholarships.
I love that. Okay, that's perfect. So what I'd love you to do, please, is tell me the name, or just the first name of a client, one student who you helped get into the college of their dreams, and the thing that really helped them was this hook statement. What's the first name of somebody like that?
Yeah, Vanessa. She got into Harvard, and
That's all I need to know. Her name's Vanessa, and she got into Harvard. Perfect. Now, before Vanessa started to work with you, she was thinking about the program, and obviously she joined. But before she did, was there an objection she had or a question that she had to overcome that almost stopped her? In other words, I almost didn't join because?
Actually, yes. She felt it was too early to begin the college prep process.
Perfect. Which I imagine is a pretty common objection.
Absolutely.
Yeah, perfect. Now, do you deliver this program face-to-face or online or a little bit of both?
Both, Taki.
Great. So what I'd love you to do is tell me when, if you think about the logistics, like the deliverables of your program, like you run it, then maybe there's a Facebook group and there's webinars or conference calls and there's modules to download. Whereabouts in your program, like logistically, did she get help with the college prep piece?
One-on-one coaching, as well as a few online coaching sessions, but mostly live sessions.
One-on-one live. Perfect. And is there a name for that one-on-one session?
We haven't yet actually titled it, but this is all part of the Platinum program, by the way. That's the program.
And presumably people who are in Platinum get live with you and people who are in Aluminium don't. Is that right?
Correct.
Cool.
Yes.
In the tin level program. Perfect. And is there an activity that you do with people that helps them get clear about their hook statement?
Yes.
Or even better, is there an activity that you'd run that would help people realize they don't have one and need one?
During the strategic session, we have a questionnaire, and so we'll ask, point blank, have you identified what your hooks are? And invariably, 99% of students and parents are clueless.
Have no idea.
Yes.
Yeah, totally. If you made everyone in the audience turn to each other in a mock interview and said, "Great, why should I let you in? Go," they would go, okay, what you need is a hook statement. That's a really simple, sexy exercise which sets up the need really well.
Exactly.
Cool. So what's the name of do you have a tool or a worksheet or like once I've got my hook statement, where does it live? Do I put it on my resume or where does it show up?
Yeah, it actually is not only on the resume, but it's literally the focal thrust of the entire college application process, because it allows the student to use a laser-like approach when telegraphing their unique strengths.
So it goes in the resume, in the interview, in the wherever else, and the wherever else, and the wherever else, and the wherever else.
Yes.
Love that. Is there anyone else involved in the program that helps people with this hook statement, or is that mostly you?
Melody is also.
Melody, perfect. Dude, perfect. So now what have I just done? What we've just done is we've set this up so that when you teach this topic about the hook statement, which is one of the core modules in your program, you could teach it to your heart's content, so long as while you're teaching it, you remember to tell Vanessa's story. And so you say it's something like this. So you might even start like this. I want you to find a partner. So I want you to just kind of look at the person next to you, and nod at them knowingly, knowing that you're going to be my partner. Perfect. And so they hands up who has a partner. Fantastic. Hands up who doesn't. Okay, you guys work together. Great. You ready? One of you is going to be A. One of you is going to be B. Who's going to be A? Great. Who's going to be B? Fantastic. B, you're going first. What I want you to do is look at A right now and ask them this one question, and they have 10 seconds to give you the answer, which is going to make or break their entrance. Ready? The question is, why should I let you in? Go. Nobody's got an answer. Okay. Hands up who really struggle with that. Is this any different to how it is in the real world? No, it's exactly how it is in the real world. The reason you failed is because you need to go into every situation, every interview, every resume, every application. The whole, your application is made or broken based on hook statement. In fact, let me give you an example. I had an interview once with a student called Vanessa and her mum, Susan, and her dad, Brian. And I asked them the same question, what's your hook statement? And they said, what do you mean? And I said, well, you want to get into Harvard, right? Yes. For this course, and you've been working really hard. Great. Why should I let you in over the other 1,000 girls who want to get in? And she just stood there with nothing to say. And we realized quickly that the hook statement was so important to their future that we needed to nail it. And she really wanted to get into Harvard, and their parents have been thinking about this for years. But frankly, she thought that it was too early to begin the college prep process because she was only how old?
She was only a sophomore.
She was only a sophomore. right? And they thought this is something that could wait for, a couple of years or whatever it is. I don't know how sophomores and freshmen and stuff works, but I'm just going to go with it. And what we realized was if she couldn't answer that question now, like if we could identify the question now, we could prep not just her application, but her focus, build her portfolio to kind of match up to that hook. And so early, like the best time to do this is now. If you do it when it comes time to apply, you're leaving it a little bit late. Anyway, so she decided to jump on board with the program, and we were in a one-on-one call because she was in our platinum program. And one of the things in the platinum program is you get these one-on-one calls with me and Melody to help you work this stuff out. And in that one-on-one call, we designed her hook statement. Her hook statement was da-da-da-da. Anyway, when she went to apply, not only did she get an interview, but she was picked straight up. And the reason that she asked afterwards, and I'm making this bit up, why was it, why'd you pick me? They said it was so obvious from all of the resumes. You were the only one who blank. And it was really funny because blank was the hook statement we crafted together in that one-on-one session. So what I want you to do right now is talk to your neighbor and have a quick conversation about why you need a hook statement and what it would, what it will mean to you if you don't get that nailed now. Ready, set, go. Blah, 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 blah.
Wow, brilliant.
Yeah, thank you, sir. So, Jonathan, I'm going to ask you first. And while Jonathan's answering it out loud, I want everyone else please to type. What did you learn from that process? The process of what are the pieces, who's the win, what was the objection, what exercise could we do, what was the tool, and then how to deliver it. Jonathan, what was most valuable about that piece for you?
Tying it together, that story, and basically asking the audience, why do you need to develop a hook? Basically getting them engaged in the process.
100%. That's our job, is to get them engaged in the process. And we haven't even got to the part where we teach how to do the hook yet, but we've got them knowing that they need it. And we've also got them really clear that if I don't have a hook, I'm going to be, one more sheet of paper in a huge stack of applications. And if I do have it, I go straight to the top. And if I do have it, I can get into Harvard. We've also overcome the objection about leaving it too late. At the same time, we've seeded in platinum, I get one-on-one with these guys. And we've also seeded that melody is this really important piece of the puzzle as well. Does that make sense? So we've done a ton of stuff in just, 4 minutes of content because we planned it first. Is this helpful?
Extremely.
Yeah. So let's just pause right there. Jonathan, thank you so much. I'm going to get you to mute your line back up, and I want to apologize that it wasn't your microphone. It was my microphone that was the problem. Thanks for playing.
Thanks a lot, Taki.
Absolute joy. So let me ask you this. If you were able to design content that teaches and sells this fluidly, what kind of an impact would it make? What kind of an impact would it make? Huge. An insane amount of impact. I'd be $1 million coach. Yeah, Gil, you totally would be. My confidence would go through the roof. Because what happens is you're able to deliver incredible value and teach and seed everything you need to seed without having to be pushy. So what happens at the end of the day when Jonathan gets to the offer? He can talk about platinum and the one-on-one live calls and the hook finder activity. And now people already want it because he seeded it 3 hours earlier. Does that make sense? So we've talked about this reverse engineering piece and how to install influence well. If you don't have a way to install influence like that, what happens? Then you have to push like a madman at the end. Yeah, you have to push like a madman. You can either hard sell or you can pre-sell. This whole thing is about pre-selling. Sam, interesting to have a debrief on a journey I've taken, i.e. the 2-day intensive. Totally, 100%. So let me be super clear about this. We're not just telling people what to want. We're also delivering a kick-ass workshop full of value and insight and pop and transformation, right? We're doing all of that. We're not robbing them to give to you, and we're not robbing you to give to them, which is what we either be douchebags or losers. Make sense? Carol says, you're so great at this, Taki. Well, here's the thing. There's only 9 moves. So the reason I call the program black belt isn't because there's 50 different punches to master. It's because you've got, I think it was Bruce Lee said, I'm not scared of the man who's got 10,000 kicks. I'm scared of the man who's got one kick and has practiced it 10,000 times. So black belt is about less moves without thinking. So if you look at what Jonathan and I just did, how much thinking did I have to do? None. I could do it off the top of my head because I've got that move installed, and that's what you want. You want to be able to do it fluidly without thinking, to have muscle memory around this stuff. Got it? Curious, for your black belt, what's the black belt intensive about? They're 2-day workshops that we run in March and July and November each year, and they're 30% learn and 70% do, and we'll jump in and we'll build. It's Thursday, Friday, all day Thursday. We pick one topic, we go deep, and we build it. So, for example, if we're talking about selling from events, we build the whole event from start to finish in a day. If we're designing a webinar to sell, we build the whole sales webinar in a day. That's what it's about. Do you still use the pink sheets to design a workshop? I 100% do. I totally do. All we've done so far is we've gone, as well as my pink sheets, we're going to do what, why, how, and now. Right? The now is usually going to be the activity. But as well as our pink sheets, how do we make sure it's not just valuable, but it's influential? Lisa says, hey, that's awesome. The link to Dropbox doesn't seem to be working. Let me get you a new link, dude. Copy. Try this one. My bad. Yeah, the people in black belt are getting ridiculous value for 20K. Of course they are. But that's how it's meant to be, isn't it? Okay, so we've talked a little bit about the design of the workshop and installing influence. I'd say we can tick that box pretty nicely. These two. I think that's done. So what comes next? What comes next is the own the room, tell, show, ask piece. Okay, let's talk a little bit about installing interaction and balancing tell, show, ask. Now, it depends how long your workshop is, doesn't it? The $1 Million Coach Intensive has been a 2-day event. And so the way I always design a 2-day workshop is I'll draw a rectangle and I'll go day 1 and day 2, and then we'll put in our breaks, right? So we've got lunchtime, morning tea, and afternoon tea, which gives us 8 sessions. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yeah. Now I like a 2-day event because I haven't wanted to do the tour. Next year, we'll see, that may very well change, and it may become a 1-day intensive, like a sprint session. But what you're going to do next is you're going to look at the outline of your day, whether it's 1 day or it's 2 days or it's half a day. Andy and Ange, the tradies I talked to you about before, their audience are tradespeople who aren't used to being in rooms, and so they do 9 till 3. Yeah. And so next we just want to kind of architect out the workshop. If you have your topic areas, for me, there was, if you go back here, along the top row are the topics. And so for me, there's intro, there's the 9 projects in black belt. Obviously, somewhere along there's going to be a break. We're going to do these ones on day 1 and these ones on day 2. There's going to be the invitation, which we put, let's say, in there at lunchtime on day 2. So people who want to hear about it can, but I'm not like forcing it down anyone's throat. And so now we've got to go, well, how the hell do we make all that fit? So you're going to look at how long you think it's going to take you to deliver each piece. So the next thing you do is you go, well, how long is that piece? Let's say that's 30, and that's 60, and that's, I could probably do that in 40 minutes. And that one, maybe that's that's 90 minutes. Look at timing, and then you're going to have to go, crap, I've got way too much stuff. You always are going to have that. You're going to have to cut some stuff down. And so for me, most of the sessions look like this. They're split sessions just to get it all in. And I'm really upfront with people that at the $1 Million Coach Intensive, I'm going to give you everything in 2 days, and it's going to be all of the information and some of the implementation. But really, what people buy is they get all the information, and the implementation is inside black belt. Yeah. And so we're going to be moving fairly quickly, and then it's just a question of, okay, so I'm going to do. This is going to be welcome and frame. And then this is going to be module 1 and 2 and 3, and just kind of name the topics. So we're just going to lay it out, making sure you've got enough time for your invitation. So let's say here is the invite to black belt, and that's how you design it out. Does that make sense? Any questions for me about either installing influence like we talked about right here and like I did with Jonathan, or designing out the sessions, in terms of schedule. So either about this or about this. Any questions for me? Please type them in if there are. Talking about pink sheets and workshop design, really simple. In each one of the modules, so let's say, let's zoom in and let's talk about, I don't know, that module there, which actually we'll do this module right here, which in the $1 Million Coach Intensive is about selling with webinars. Thank you. Right, this module here is about selling with webinars. Inside that module, I'm going to do what we talked about before. I'm going to teach why, what, how, and now. I'm still going to follow my format. There's going to be a why stack, frustrations, fears, wants, aspirations, client case study, interaction. There's going to be 3 to 5, in this case 5 pink sheets. There's going to be here's how you do it, which is going to be our exercises. There's going to be a model that I'll draw, right? And there's going to be some kind of activity. Does that make sense? So I'm still going to use pink sheets in this thing, but I'm making sure while I teach my pink sheets that I'm ticking off all of my influential pieces from there. In other words, I'm running, as I teach the stuff, I make sure that I tell Vanessa's story, and I handle that objection. And so the way I can do that is I can remind myself by getting a photo of Vanessa, putting that in, and that reminds me to tell Vanessa's story, which also reminds me to overcome that objection. Is the what just the headings, and then the how is the detail of each? The what is the 5 key points, and the how is what we're doing right now. It's walking you through exactly how to implement that piece. Cool. And the activity can go in the now piece. Exactly right. Now, one of the mistakes people make is they're worried that if I give away my best stuff, then people won't need me. Dude, nothing could be further from the truth. When you give freely of your information, you earn the right to charge a premium for implementation. It's as simple as that. So your job is to teach people everything and have them go, holy crap, I need you. So people are going through this piece going, wow, this is really amazing, but we're moving a little bit quick. I really wish we could do that. Well, dude, if you want to work on this stuff and actually build it, then black belts for you. That's how you do it. Make sense? Okay. So we're going to balance, tell, show, and ask, which is effectively what we do here. When we're doing why you need it and what you need to do, we're in tell mode, right? We get into how to do it. In here, usually some kind of group activity, group discussion, and then here they're in their worksheets doing the stuff. Now, just remember, depending on time, you're not going to have time to get everyone to do all of the how, and that's completely okay. If it's imagine you and your prospect are dogs. It's a butt sniffing event, right? They're there to kind of check you out. And so it's totally understood that they're not going to be able to do everything in a day. It's a taste. Make sense? Does this work to promote your one-on-one coaching? Of course it does. It's exactly the same. The only thing that's different is the logistics. There's not all of these bits. You know what I mean? Butt sniffing, and that's horrible. How do the 8 grids come up in format? Super simple. Super simple. So the topic is the topic of the, actually, let me switch different colors. Okay. The topic is the topic you're teaching for that, let's say it's 45 minutes or that hour. You're going to do your why, which is fears, frustrations, wants, and aspirations, and a case study. Whose case study do you use? Vanessa's. When you tell Vanessa's story, you overcome the objection. And you mention the logistics. Right? Then you teach your 5 key points. Then you show off your sexy tool, your exercises. Yeah, so the 8 grid is like, while I'm doing format, I want to make sure I drop these in. Does that make sense, Hanu? How much how should I give in a 45-minute talk? Dude, you can give that much how in a 45-minute talk, to be perfectly blunt with you. Not that much. Your focus is mostly going to be on why and what, and just enough how that they know you've got it. Okay? Let's do this. I want to give you 5 keys right now. Ready? Here we go. Number 1. Just like when you're on a webinar, just like we're on a webinar, what we're going to do is we're going to reverse engineer our content. We're going to design the content from the offer backwards. In other words, when the worst mistake in the world to make is to design out great content and then at the end of it go, okay, so how do I make this sell? Bzz, huge mistake. We do it backwards. We figure out what the thing we're trying to sell is, and from there we plan the content. So if I'm running a workshop and it's designed to help people figure out whether black belt is the right thing for them or not, then clearly what I need to do is I need to work out what's inside black belt and make sure I teach that, because remember, our job on a webinar or our job on in a seminar or a workshop is to teach people what to want. Does this make sense? So we're going to reverse engineer it. We're going to deliver it in a certain order, but we're going to start with what's the end result I want and then build ourselves a workshop or a talk that does that. So I'm going to apply this to if you're teaching a 60-minute Sell From Stage event, if you're doing a half day or a 1 day or a 2 day like the $1 Million Coach has been. I'm going to walk you through the exact process that I use. So first thing I want you to know is what amateurs do is they build a great talk and they try to slap a close onto the end. What professionals do is they figure out what the offer is going to be, right down to, what's the offer, what's the price point, what's the bonuses, and then go, if that's all the stuff I want people to want, how do I teach so that people are aware of that stuff? Yeah, I'll give you some examples in a minute. Number 2, this is, once you get the idea that we're going to reverse engineer it, you need to know how. How we do it is by installing influence. What we're going to do is we're going to, I don't know if you've seen that movie Inception, but in Inception, what they do is they're able to kind of enter your mind while you're in a dream, like while you're asleep, and plant thoughts, which later on become decisions, actions, and results. And so, they would literally like mind hack you. So we want to do something similar, less creepy, frankly. We want to figure out what are the things that we want people to believe about themselves, about you, and about your product, and install them in. There are 7 or 8 categories that we'll work on, and I'll give you a couple of them right now. Obviously, what are the topic areas that you're going to deliver in your program? If the topic areas are, sell with webinars and rock events and coach groups and unpack your IP, if they're the topic areas that are in the program, I need to make sure people want them by teaching about them in the course. So topic areas. Next, objections. What are the objections that I need to overcome? It costs too much. I can't make it. The events are really, really far away. My husband isn't on board. It's not a good time of year for me. How quickly can I get the money back? There are objections. We need to install the answer to all of those in the content, because if we can squash an objection before it even gets raised, now we can just move on. Yeah. What else? So we've got content topics, we've got objections, we've got logistics in the program. So if, like inside Black Belt, if one of the things that we have is a weekly group coaching call called the Weekly Sherp, I need to let people know that exists and that it's super useful, so that by the time I get to the offer on day 2 at lunchtime for me, that they already know what a Weekly Sherp is and they know that they want one. Yeah? The rule is, please write this down, the rule is there should be no surprises in the offer. In other words, by the time we get to the invitation at the end where we say, hey, here's how it works and here's what you get, everything that you're going to map out, they already know they want it. Does that make sense? No surprises in the offer. So there are 8 categories of influence we want to install. We've got content topics, we've got objections, we've got logistics. If there's anyone else involved in delivering the program, we need to position them. There might be activities or exercises you want to run. There's sexy tools you can show off. There's client stories where clients have had big wins. And then there's the experience itself. So they're kind of the 8 categories that we want to make a list of and seed. The way I do that is I get a bunch of different colored Post-it notes. In fact, if you look at this slide right now, this is the wall that I designed the $1 Million Coach 2-day intensive on. And you'll notice it's got a bunch of different Post-it notes. And so what I did was I had 8 different colored Post-it notes, or 8 different pieces. And so we had objections, logistics, we had topic areas, we had client stories, we had exercises to run, etc. And I just listed them all out on a big fat sheet of paper. Sorry, 1 Post-it note per idea. So let's say pink along the top were content modules, and then we had different colored post-it note for this and that and the other, listed them all out, just put them on a wall, like in a big ugly pile, not like it looks right now. And then I got the content areas and I put them along the top of the wall, like you can see along that top row. It starts off with why, the $1 million model, authority marketing, get leads, fix your follow-up, etc. All of the topics from left to right along the top. And then under each one, what's a client who's had a great win with that? So we're talking about webinars. Tristan had a great win. Let's use Tristan's. When Tristan wanted to join, what was the objection I had to overcome with him? Gee, this feels like a lot of money. So I'll put that one underneath it and then the next one. And so I take all of my influential pieces. By the way, I've never shared this anywhere outside Black Belt. So all I do is I make a list of the topic areas along the top, and for each one I'm looking for a story, a client who's had a win. What was the objection I had to overcome with them? Was there a piece of the program that we overcame that objection with? Maybe we were on a weekly Sherp, or on a group coaching webinar, or at a Black Belt intensive, or in the game plan up front. Make a list, and then I end up with all of these columns here. So now I can go away and build the presentation, but I know that no matter how hard I teach, every piece of influence that I want to seed is already covered before I even get to the offer. Does that make sense? Is this making sense, everybody? I just wanted to check that you're getting this. So let me just pause for a second. I'll get into them in a second, Joe. What are you getting from this? What I want to know is, what have you just learned? Let's take a quick time out, because this is a huge game-changing piece. What did you learn, and how is it valuable to you? I'm just going to take a couple of minutes of a pause here. John says chunk it. Yeah, this is the how on reverse engineering. Format forces me to be really clear and concise. Decide the offer first, build first. Right. Under each module, you include the 8 areas and build the webinar or event accordingly. Yeah. So this is how you write the presentation from both a performance and a persuasion point of view. Do you see that? The stuff here isn't just cool things I want to teach. It's that too. And it's also every objection I want to overcome, every client case study I want to be able to drop. You with me? So that if I teach this, I can be as generous as I want with the content, because I know that every influential piece, every sexy tool I want to highlight, every template I'm going to show off and have people want, all of that stuff is it's engineered to be an incredible workshop and have people want to buy at the end. What we're really doing is we're installing influence. We're taking what are the seeds that we want to inception, and we're planting them into our content. So we've talked a little bit. The first 2 points are about designing. We're going to reverse engineer it. How do we do that? We list out the 8 categories of influence, and we install them into the timeline of the event. Looks like this. From there, we can go into the keynote or PowerPoint slides, right? Third, let's talk about how we deliver this. The next 2 points are about delivery. 3, we want to own the room. The very first minute of the workshop, what we're doing, or the workshop or the seminar, what we're really doing is we're setting the tone for how we want it to end. And so the whole way through, we're playing a game of Simon Says. You know that game you play as kids? We're playing a game of Simon Says. And in Simon Says, you're Simon, and what you say, they need to do. At the end of the workshop, we're going to invite people. At the end of the event, we're going to invite people to work with us, and we want them to, at least the right people, to say yes. If we want them to say yes to something big at the end, we need to get them to say yes at the start. And so what our job really is to build an incredible amount of rapport with the audience. Rapport, R-A-P-P-O-R-T, rapport. Now, rapport is defined as a relationship of trust and responsiveness. High trust, highly responsive is great rapport. So how do we do that? Well, what most people try to do is they earn your trust, and they beg or plead or ask for your responsiveness. But leaders don't do that. I assume trust, and we demand responsiveness. So literally, I'll welcome everyone at the door, which is great for me because I get to know everybody. And frankly, I'm an extrovert and I love connecting with people. But when the workshop starts, a video plays, and then I walk out and I say something like, welcome. I'm really, really glad you're here. Please do me a favor, everybody, and raise your right hand. Yep. No, higher. Fantastic. Thank you. Wave your hand around like you just don't care. Great. Put your hand on the shoulder of the person next to you. Give them a shake and say, oh, crap, he's interactive, right? Now, what's that? That is owning the room. It's a great icebreaker, 100%. And it also sets up really quickly that we're going to play a game of Simon Says for the next 2 days or half a day or 3 hours or whatever you're doing with people. I'm owning the room. I'm setting things up that when I say do this, you do that. And when you do it, thank you. There's an acknowledgement. Does that make sense? So we're talking a little bit about yeah, we're talking a little bit about how to deliver the workshop in a way that is highly valuable. Obviously, you're going to deliver it using format, the same structure that we taught before, right? But in terms of like the physical, what do you do in the actual room? First thing we're going to do is we're going to own the room. Secondly, we're going to balance, show, tell, and ask in our workshop. This is kind of huge. So there's kind of 3 modes you can deliver your workshop in. 3 modes. We have tell, we have show, and we have ask. What on earth does that all mean? Let me show you here on my iPad. Okay, so we got tell, show, and ask. So just think about it. If you're in the front of the room, there's really 3 styles of presentation you can do. And what we want to do is we want to balance these out. Otherwise, you end up working really, really hard. Like if you have, let's say, 90 minutes to fill, and the only mode you've got is tell, then what happens is you end up having to fill 90 minutes worth of slides, content, ideas, etc., and you end up fire hosing people to death, and you leave tired and they leave exhausted. And if it's their taster with you and they leave exhausted and a bit fried, probably not doing it right. Okay, so what I want you to think about right now is 3 modes you can deliver your content in. And I got this out of a conversation with my buddy Matt Church, who I referenced before. Really good guy. So our 3 modes are tell, show, and ask. Okay, so actually I might, let's mix up our colors a little bit. Okay, so let's talk about tell. When you're in tell mode, you're at the front of the room and all eyes are on you. Okay, the focus is on you. So up here is focus, tools, outcome. Okay, so in tell mode, the focus is on you because you're at the front. The tool you use is slides. And what you're really doing is you're delivering information. Yeah, info. You with me so far? So we got, imagine in a 90-minute session, there's 30 minutes, roughly a third of the time where you're in tell mode. The focus is on you, you're using slides, and they get educated. Then we have show mode. And what happens is the focus shifts from being eyes on you to us. This is, imagine like group discussion, group facilitation, group activity. The tool we're going to use is Flipchart. You know, butcher's paper, drawing a model and unpacking it together with the room. When we do that, what happens is they go from information to insight. Yeah, so we've got the focus shifts from look at me at the front of my slides to let's discuss this together and work on it, and they get insight. Finally, we have an ask mode, and the ask mode is on them, the individual. The tool we use is a worksheet, and what they get is they get action, implementation, right? So one's about content transfer, one's about discovery, and one's about moving people forward. And so what we want to do is in our 90-minute talk, we want to balance tell, show, and ask. So in each 90-minute block, we're going to balance tell, show, and ask about 30, 30, 30. Is this making sense? When you do that, why would this be better for the audience if you can balance tell, show, and ask? Think about the people in your room. What's better about that for them? Type it in the box for me. Way more interaction? They can take more stuff away? Yes. Yeah, this piece, it moves them deeper towards energy. Yeah, holds their energy, more entertaining, more engaging, less boring, connects them to you, stays interesting. Perfect. Let's flip this. How is this better for you, the presenter? How is this better for you, the presenter? Much easier. Why? Because you've got 30 minutes of tell to prepare, not 90 every single time, right? Yeah, you don't have to fill 90 minutes worth of work. The whole idea, the best workshops in the world are the ones where they work harder than you do. Does that make sense? So let's come back here. Here's what we've covered so far. Number 1, we're going to reverse engineer it. We're going to figure out what the end is, the offer we're going to make, and then we're going to design the content to sell that. How do we do that? 8 categories of influence. We list them all out, every objection on a Post-it note, 1 Post-it note each. Every piece of your program, logistically, we have this webinar, we run this live event, we have these templates, every one of those on a worksheet, every objection to overcome, every content topic on a post-it note, every person who's involved that I need to seed, the Sherpa, Carl, who does the critique calls, the ninjas in the Philippines. Yeah? All of the elements, and then we're gonna have them all out, on a table somewhere, and then we're gonna line them out on a wall or a window in a way that builds your presentation for you. Thirdly, when we step on stage, we're going to own the room and we're going to start the game of Simon Says. Now we're in the delivery piece. How do you do it? You own the room. You say jump, they say hi, how high. They jump, you say thank you. We play this all the way through. Then we're going to balance tell and show and ask in our talks. Now if you're doing like a 90-minute session, there's going to be probably less ask and more, there's going to be more tell. But if you're doing a half day or a day or 2 days or 3 days, generally speaking, the longer the event, the higher conversion rate, generally speaking, especially if we're selling your big, expensive year-long thing. We're going to balance tell, show, and ask. So the focus is going to shift from you to us to them. It's going to go from slides to flip chart to worksheet. It's going to go from information to insight to action. That's how we're going to do this. And finally, once we've done this, we've taught people what to want. The fifth step is to choreograph the close, is to make the close smooth like butter so that people go from wanting what you got to actually buying what you've got. And the way we unpack the offer is by using the 6 magic pills that we talked about in our strategy session about auditioning clients. We go from problems and promise to outcome and model to logistics and price. And if you're in a big room, you do that at the front of the room. And if you're in a small room, you do it using a small room geographic close, which we can talk about in a little bit. Cool? So let's just pause. If you think about these 5 big ideas, rocking events, reverse engineering, installing influence, owning the room, balancing tell, show, and ask, and choreographing the close. Which of these 5 do you need to work on the most and why? Tell, show, ask, says Jonathan. Choreographing the close, says Carol. Balancing, tell, show, and ask. Yep. Installing influence. Yep. 2 and 3 are usually wing installing influence. If you're winging it, you might hit some of them, but I guarantee anytime that there's a drop in my conversion rate, it's because I've lost a little bit of intentionality around my stuff. And so I literally go back to the start and build from kind of just re-intentionalize, whatever the word is. Reverse engineer and own the room. Yep. How to make the close smooth and non-sleazy. Perfect. So let's do this. In terms of what I wanted to teach you today from slides, the tell piece is done. Let's get into some show, and then we'll get into some ask. Is that cool? So why don't we do this? Recorder, we're going to pause the recording right here. And what I want to know, guys, is one question you got for me in terms of how to implement this, because as I teach, I want to make sure I'm giving you exactly what you need. Got it? So what's one question you got for me in terms of how to do this well? That's better? Thank you, sound engineers. Best way to reverse engineer the content around the offer. Great. Okay, let's do this. How much do you stick with your plan versus leave to go with the flow of the audience interaction? Dude, the audience interaction is in the plan. So what we're going to do is we're going to plan spontaneity. We're going to have interactive piece here and leave yourself some time for it. If you go off track, it's incredibly fun, and sometimes it's magical. So long as you're seeding the whole way through, love it. But you need to be intentional, and just winging stuff, not so good. It's like a scheduled date night. Exactly. It's exactly what it is. It's like a surprise birthday party. It's a surprise to them, and it's planned for the organizer. Reading the room for interaction. Perfect. Okay, so let's do this. Why don't we start, and we're going to go through these 5 pieces, piece by piece by piece. I don't have like prepared material for you here, but I'm just going to show you exactly how to do it. So we're going to talk about reverse engineering. The first thing we're going to do, so if we zoom in on this piece right here, the first thing we need to do is we need to figure out what is the offer you're going to make. Okay, so what I'd like you to do, please, is just list out, firstly, just type into the box, what's the name of the thing that you want to sell? What's the name of the thing that you want to sell? Yep, Happy Humans Online. Love that, Dina. Small Business Big Exit Accelerator Program. Sam, got it. Goodbye stress, hello flow. Love that. Perfect. G'day Rockstar, Taki Moore here. Today I want to talk to you about conversion. I can look back over the last few years, and if I look back at the timeline of our evolution as a business, there's probably 3 or 4 key moments where we made a simple decision that really bumped us up. And one of those was when we added live introduction or live sales events to our model, the $1 Million Coach Intensive. You may well have been there. If you haven't, you should totally come along because it's an extraordinary workshop. When I built that workshop, I did it with 2 main things in mind. Number one, how do I create an event that is extraordinary, that is really transformative and valuable on its own, right? And then secondly, how do I build a workshop that does all that and has a bunch of people, 30% on average over the last 3 or 4 years, 30% of the people who come apply to join us in Black Belt, right? So that's what we want. We want to go from people clapping and saying, that was amazing, to people clapping and then throwing money, wanting to sign up for you and your coaching. So in this session, I want to talk you through how to design an extraordinary event, how to own the room and play Simon Says, so that people are following you every step of the way. I want to talk to you about how to install influence into your content so that you don't have to get the close right. Even if you screw up the close, you'll still do incredibly well because the content sells itself. Does that make sense? We're going to inception people. Remember that movie Inception where they plant thoughts in people's minds? That's exactly what we're going to do. So I'm going to show you how to own the room, how to install influence, and then thirdly, how to choreograph the close so that you can invite people to join your program without it being douchey, without it being weird, without it being awkward in any way. In fact, it's going to be smooth like butter. I can't wait to share this with you. Never shared this anywhere outside of Black Belt. I think you're going to love it. Just keep it between you and me. Please don't share this outside because it's just a little bit badass. Is that cool? All right. So let's get ready to rock some events.
Super excited about today's session. Today I want to help you rock your events. If you think about attract, convert, deliver, we're in the convert phase right now. We've talked about how to sell one-on-one with triage calls and strategy sessions. That big timeline. We've done our webinar selling piece, and I want to teach you how to rock an event. And my goal with rock an event is that you're able to deliver an event that really does 2 things. Number one, it rocks their world. It's crazy high value. People love it. And number 2, that it converts incredibly well. And so there's a couple of people saying that they're having trouble hearing because of folks. Let me just mute everyone. Okay. Sorry, let's start fresh. And yes, there is a handout for today. That's the link. Okay, gang. So now I'm getting the sound isn't as good as it was before. So I'm going to switch back to this. The unmuted mic. Yeah, sound is good. Okay, great. Let's just do this. I got it. Let's do it. Here we go. So if you think about attract, convert, deliver, attract is generate the leads, warm them up. Convert is how we convert a prospect into a client. And deliver is the way we create value for our clients, right? It's how we get them a result, hopefully in a scalable, leveraged way. So we're in a convert mode right now, and to convert, we can sell one-on-one, we can sell with webinars, and we can sell with events. Now, events is an advanced strategy, and I don't normally teach this except inside Black Belt, but it's a huge part of our growth. I can kind of count on my hands maybe 5 significant shifts that kind of help take us from, we've grown and we hit a plateau, and then bam, we tweak one thing, and then we grew and we hit a plateau, and then bam. And that's the third one of those 5 jumps was our first ever event, the $1 Million Coaching Intensive. And I want to show you exactly how to do an event that delivers incredible results for the people, incredible value. They love it, and that converts incredibly well. So let's just do this. What I want to know first of all is, are you running live events to sell stuff already, or do you have plans to in that future? So say, I already do, or I'd like to, or frankly, if this is just something you want to learn for later, just say, just checking it out. Cool. Yeah, I'd like to. I do a little. I'd like to do more soon. Yep, I'd like to. I do. So Sam, got some plans. Fantastic. Fantastic. Cool. Hey, you're in. Great. So we've got a bit of a mix. Some people who are doing it, some people who are going to do it soon, and some people who just kind of want to learn, check it out, and get better from there. Totally understand. So, Gil, totally, I know you have. So let's do this. Here's why you want to know how to rock an event. If you don't have a system for for designing an event that is both high value and high conversion, then what ends up happening is you give your...
Hang on, guys. I'm having some trouble here. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to ditch this webcam. I'm going to plug this puppy in, because even though I'm a good-looking dude, our audio is way more important than the rest. So just give us a sec. Let's just get this sorted. It's time to get audio serious, don't you think? Yeah, so if you don't have a system for rocking events, here's what happens. You end up giving your very best stuff away, and people go, wow, that was fantastic. You give your best stuff away, and you don't have a whole lot left. So you try to be super, super valuable. The close gets icky and weird. Do you know what I mean? At the end of it, when you get to the part where you're where you're selling your stuff, it just kind of falls flat on the face. You love the part where you're teaching stuff, and the part where you have to like turn around and actually sell or make an offer gets really awkward and weird. We don't want that. And at the end, so you give your best stuff away, the close is weird, and at the end, instead of buying your stuff, they clap and applause and tell you how great it was. When I was a kid, I think kind of 7, 8, or 9, I'm walking with my dad in Sydney's Darling Harbour kind of entertainment precinct, a hot summer's day, holding his hand. And holding Dad's hand. And what happens is there's this busker. And the busker there's this busker. Dad's holding my hand. We're walking past it, and he's right at the end of the finale of his performance. There's a huge crowd, and he gets everyone to clap in time, and they get faster and faster, and he's getting more and more people to come, and then he does his big finale, and at the end there's this thunderous round of applause, and I'm holding my dad's hand as he's kind of leading me off, and I'm looking back over my shoulder, and I just hear this desperate busker yell out, "Don't clap, throw money." And if you don't do it right, that's exactly what happens. People will say, "That was amazing, thank you so much," but they won't do the next thing that you want them to do. So you give away your best stuff, the close feels really weird, and at the end they give you a round of applause, and at the end you're really tired, you're exhausted, and you don't have a whole lot to show for the time and effort you put in. That's why we're here today. If we can get this right, instead of working your butt off, here's what happens. Instead of just giving away your very best stuff, you drop value bombs. In other words, the thing is super useful. You share knowledge and swag, and people love it. The close, instead of being kind of icky and awkward and strange and clunky and kind of gross, is smooth like butter. Okay, we're going to talk about that today. How to make the close smooth like butter. And at the end, instead of clapping for you, they throw money. Okay, so I remember talking to a black belt client a couple of months ago who was off to do a 3-city tour, a Melbourne, Sydney, Brisbane event tour. And he texted me afterwards, and I said, "Man, how'd you go?" He goes, "Well, I just went out and rounded myself up some clients." He was like a wrangler from the West. If you do this right, every time you jump on stage, you're going to rustle up some new clients to come back into the fold. If we do that well, then I think we're doing, if we do that right, that's exactly our job. So I want to just kind of introduce you quickly to your two clients of mine, a couple from Australia and and a guy from the US. This is Andy and Ange. They coach tradespeople, plumbers and electricians. They run the Tradie Show. And actually, they live around the corner from where we live. They're longtime friends, longtime clients inside Black Belt. And for a while, they've struggled with their events. And then this year, we had a conversation at the start of the year, and I tweaked their event strategy quite a bit. They've gone from you're running it like a seminar to running it like a workshop, like I'm going to teach you. I taught them exactly how to design the not just the offer, but design the content so it's seamless and it reverse engineers like we do on a webinar, so that the content in the event really sells it beautifully well, and change the way they do the offer to application only with a really nice choreographed close. And they're doing small rooms, like 20 people in a room, something like that, not big stadium events. But of the 20 people in the room, they're getting 14 or 15 buyers, right? So they're doing incredible numbers at an $18,000 or $20,000 program. They're doing just great. So that's Andy and Ange. This is Salim, Omar, he coaches accountants. He lives in New Jersey. Great client of mine. And when I met him, he was doing a couple of big events a year and really struggling. Like he'd get, from memory, 50 people in a room and close like 1 or 2. The last couple of events he's done, he's closed a third of the room into a very high-priced coaching program. And it's made all of the difference. You're making 6 figures in a day consistently. And so in today's session, I'm going to show you exactly how to do that. So what I want to know right now is, why do you want to rock events? Why do you want to get great at running an event that rocks hard and converts like crazy? Please let me know. Why do you want to get good at this? Sign up clients right there and then. I love the stage as well. I can make a bigger impact. It's like you said, they can be exhausting, so it's good to get a return on the effort I put in. Yes, more fun, more rewarding. Sign up clients on the spot, get more clients, and enjoy myself. I'm great at speaking value, but I want a better conversion rate. Yep. Once you get good at it once, you're good at it for a long time. Yes, 100%. Reach more people I can mentor to make it more time efficient with signing clients. Yes, signing many clients. Good at speaking. I want to financially leverage that skill. Jonathan, love that. Get the respect for my material. Easy to get people on board when they want to know you. Yeah, show your expertise really, really well. Exactly. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you 5 keys right now, 5 strategies to do this incredibly well. And so I want to give you a high-level overview of 2 factors. Number 1, how to design. Actually, it's 3 things. Number 1, how to design the content so that it is influential and it does all the selling for you. Number 2, how to deliver that material incredibly well. And number 3, how to make the close super, super smooth. So I'm going to go deep and go hard. And once we've gone deep, we've gone hard, and I've showed you how to design it and how to deliver it and then how to do the close, then we're going to open up for questions, and I'm going to help you kind of deep dive this stuff. Is that cool? Sam says, people buy when others are buying. The herd moves when the herd moves. Yeah. Okay, cool.